You're listening to Football Friday Night on demand exclusively on 600 ESPN El Paso. Stay up to date with high school football scores, updates, and news by downloading the free 600 ESPN El Paso mobile app.
This is Football Friday Night on 600 ESPN El Paso. Here are your hosts, Beau Bagley and Paul MacKinnon.
It's Football Friday Night, Week 5 in the Borderland. From now until the clock strikes 0, we have you covered with all the action. From West Texas to the land of enchantment, it's a full slate of games tonight on Football Friday Night, right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. I'm your host, Beau Bagley, alongside the hardest worker in the business, Paul MacKinnon, and producers for the night, Adrian Broadus and Angel Munoz. The silky smooth Sal Montes has taken a new position, and we thank him for all his hard work over the years. Wish him the best of luck. Now, we have 70 years of experience on site in the stadiums tonight. Our 600 ESPN El Paso high school football reporters are working that beat to bring you the best coverage possible. Our reporters tonight are Alex Nicolas, Steve Escajeda, Brandon Cohn, Jaime Chavez, the coach, Adrian Broadus, Joe Rodriguez, Joey Panisi, Isaiah Ramirez, and J.D. Sursley. Now, we're here to speak the gospel of high school football in West Texas and southern New Mexico. Paul, it all got started with a bang last night, but before getting to last night's games, some exciting ones there was, and especially in District 16A, a big one tonight in our Cisco Movers game of the night. It's Montwood at Franklin. Franklin's first home game of the season.
Yeah, and the first one that really matters, Franklin played a tough non-district schedule. Their one win was their last game a couple of weeks ago. Remember, all of 6A off last week, but a big win over Andress. And, boy, that offense looked good. Cameron Bird, I think he was 23 out of 24. The McMortar kid, the running back, over 100 yards. And, of course, he catches them, too. I think he had a 50-yard score. So they look sharp coming into district. And, of course, Montwood has, maybe the most dangerous weapon in a city where there's a lot of dangerous weapons. I saw one of them, Tavares Jones, last night. But Yamil Oaxaca, I don't know if there's a better receiver in the city. He goes up and gets everything and is productive. Remember the 4-touchdown game a couple of weeks ago against San Angelo Central. So, we could see a return to that kind of action tonight. This should be a terrific game.
Some fun storylines in this one, but maybe the most important is Franklin High School expects head coach Darren Walker to back on the sidelines. Steve Escajeda had a report on Sports Talk with Adrian Broadus about a half an hour ago. He said he did not see Darren Walker on the sidelines, but we will get a report from Steve Escajeda coming up in just a little bit when that game starts here underway. It is homecoming at Franklin High School at Cougar Stadium, so that should be a fun one. Montwood coming into that game 1-2 overall, while Franklin also coming in 1-2. Franklin and Montwood have not played last week. Franklin coming off a big 41-21 win over Andress 2 weeks ago. Another big one in sticking in District 16A, 3-0 Eastlake and 0-3 Americus. Americus looking for their first win of the season. Which Americus is going to show up in this one?
Well, great question. I think the one that shows up every week, which is going to be the one that's probably not good enough to beat Eastlake, but they do have, as we said, they have a puncher's chance. They got, the quarterback Mark Ramos, who's decent with the ball under his shoulder. You can throw a little bit too. Remember when Del Valle was killing him a couple of weeks back? They actually got back in that thing through the air, a little bit of a surprise. But Moore's a runner, and he also has the Drennan kid back there with him, Caesar Drennan, the fourth of the Drennan brothers. I always say it. I love the Drennan parents. There,
Yes.
Who are your kids? Romeo, and there's Q, and Sir was the one who graduated last year, and now we have Caesar. So, I love their imagination. But another Drennan kid, and he's a good one. He's good for 100+ every week. So you have that yin and yang of the zone read. Quarterback can go for 50, 60. The running back's going to go for 120, between 120 and 150. So they can attack a defense. So they have a puncher chance every week. But as you said, looks like Eastlake, at least early on, the best team in the district. Montwood and Franklin will have a lot to say about that based on what they do tonight as well.
And Eastlake coming in 3-0, arguably our top team in the city. Alex Nicolas will have the call on that one. 3-0 Eastlake, 0-3 Americus at the SAC. Another exciting game we feel over at Matador Stadium. Coach Jaime Chavez on the call for this one. 3-1 Del Valle at 1-3 Park Parkland. Now, Delvi coming off a hard-fought loss at Canutillo in overtime. That was nearly the L.J. Martin show. We'll talk a little bit more about Canutillo in a moment, but Delvi playing very well at Lowenberg Stadium, while Parkland coming off a 50-0 win over the Bowie Bears. Bowie struggling this year, but Parkland coming off with some momentum after scoring 50 points against Bowie.
Yeah, without a doubt, and they rolled Bowie. I mean, that was an easy game for them. Still a battle at quarterback for them. The Albaran kid started the season, got hurt game 1, and then they go to Yosef Minhadis. And those guys, I don't think they picked anybody yet. Minhadis a little better last week. I think he threw for 80, and Alvaronen in his first game back threw for about 50. So little quandary there. They're going to figure that out by the start of the district season. Delvi, I'm not sure they would say that they played well last week against Canutillo. A little bit of an upset. They got rolled early, caught up late, and of course they needed a fumble return that Josh Salas, I think it was, a fumble return late in the contest to get them to overtime, but then L.J. Martin, of course, finished it off. Interception in OT, and then he scores his 4th touchdown, 3 on the ground, 1 through the air, as he just had a phenomenal night. I think he was our offensive and defensive player of the night all at the same time.
And that should be a fun one. Jaime Chavez, the call over at Matador Stadium, Delvi at Parkland, another fun one. Joe and Panisi on the call for this one down on the reservation, Hutchins Stadium. The Isleta Indians at 3-1, hosting the El Dorado Aztecs. Isleta coming off just a 1 point, a narrow victory over the Jefferson Silver Foxes last week. Damon Contreras had the game-winning touchdown run in that one for Isleta. How do you see this one shaping up?
Well, you like us to let it coming off the the big win a week ago, especially after the way they got kind of hammered a 20-point loss to 4A Riverside the week prior. So I think Isleta's back in their good graces. And as you said, the quarterback Contreras, remember this is a guy that sat out his junior year, COVID 2020. A lot of people sat out, and he's one of them. They are so overjoyed and fortunate to have him back. He's having a big year, and as you said, the huge 1-yard touchdown run late in that contest to win one of 5 thrillers we had. By the way, 5 terrific ball games
Absolutely.
A week ago, including that that Cathedral Anthony game. That's a pretty high bar for us to hit this week, but we're going to try.
That's right. Cathedral defeated Anthony just by a point last week as Anthony missed a game-winning 27-yard field goal. Cathedral came out of that one 20-19 victories over the Anthony Wildcats. Cathedral will be playing and will be hosting San Elizario today. Cathedral 3-1 on the season so far.
Yeah, and that's going to be at Austin. And as we talked about earlier, Anthony put it on San Eli 41-zip to open the season. And the Cathedral we just spoke of last week, 20-19, wide right at the end. I mean, they barely squeezed by, but Cathedral did beat Anthony, and Anthony had no problems with San Eli. So ipso facto, let's do the math and just say Cathedral's not going to have any problem with San Eli, which means, of course, San Eli's going to just come back and surprise them and us, and, like they always do.
Hey, but that's why they play the games. Cathedral hosting that one tonight at Austin. We'll have updates. Cathedral, a good chance to go 4-1. Other games we have tonight, Joe Rodriguez with a call at Bel Air's Highlander Stadium. Bel Air hosting Horizon. Also, Brandon Cohn will have the call at Lowenberg Stadium. Canutillo at 3-1, hosting 3-1 Mountain View. This is an interesting one. Possible let-up after an exciting overtime win over Delvi last weekend. L.J. Martin, possibly the game of the year so far, 4 touchdowns, and the game-clinching interception.
Yeah, without a doubt. And what was even most impressive, again, the Canutillo defense, and that's a year-after-year thing. Christian Martinez, terrific back for Delvi, 21 yards, I think it was, on 15 carries. Or maybe the other way around, 21 carries for 15 yards. No. But they held him in check. That's something that hasn't been done this year. In fact, they held everybody in check. I think Eli Molina was only 5 catches for about 120 yards. But that Canutillo defense shut down Delvi. Told you they needed a Josh Salas fumble return to get back into that one. But the one thing, Mountain View is throwing the heck out of the ball this year. Junior Salcedo went for 377 last week against an overmatched Hatch Valley. But they like to throw the football. That's the one way you can have success against Canutillo. But the problem is, the Canutillo defense and the Hatch Valley defense are not one and the same.
A little different.
Mountain View has not a big chance in this one, but they do have a nice matchup of a team that wants to throw the ball against the team that's defense is best versus the run game.
And L.J. Martin playing both ways for the Canutillo Eagles, arguably our player of the year so far in this young season. But Canutillo 3-1, Mountain View 3-1. Brandon Cohn, the Iceman, will have the call of that one at Lowenberg Stadium. Also an interesting game, maybe not so much for the Hanks Knights, but the Lubbock Cooper Pirates come in with a state ranking to Excalibur Stadium.
Yeah, we talked about this a little earlier with Adrian on his show, but this is a homecoming game for Hanks. And you scratch your head. You know, I like to reason, okay, what could be the reason that we scheduled Lubbock Cooper? And I'm thinking, well, number one, Aaron Price was the head coach back in 2018. And Aaron, right before he decided, I'm going to go back to college, he said, let's put Lubbock Cooper on the schedule. The other thing, this one more likely, in 2019, one of the best Hanks Knights teams I've seen in the last decade. The best Knights team since they first moved down to it was 4A at the time, the last of the Pettis brothers. They were runners-up that year. That was a good Hanks team. The 2019 team was the best team since then. COVID 2020 ravaged the Hanks Knights, and I don't mean necessarily disease, but they had almost an entire junior class quitting. I believe they had 4 returning seniors they've recruited for the basketball program. Dallas Coleman, a kid from B-ball who's having catches, seems like a touchdown pass, every week. But they are a hurting team, and how in the world the number 5 team coming in for your homecoming game? I wanted to call Jason and ask him about it, Coach Blair. But then if he said, yeah, it was my idea, I'd have to ask the follow-up, and that's what I just couldn't bring myself to. Are you crazy?
Well, it's tough. Yeah, that's a tough one. Lubbock Cooper, the 5th-ranked team in the state, coming in with a 3-1 record, taking on the 1-3 Hanks. Football Friday Night welcomes back reporter Isaiah Ramirez. He'll have the call from Excalibur Stadium. Last game, Socorro, a good chance to at Thunderbird Stadium. Socorro taking on Coronado. Coronado winless on the season at 0-3. Socorro 1-2 coming off a victory 2 weeks ago. That should be a fun one. J.D. Sursley on the call. Hey, we have updates of games already in progress. The Riverside Rangers and the Monahans Lobos. Both teams 4-0 on the season. Battle of undefeateds. But right now, the Lobos of Monahans lead Riverside 21-7 at halftime. Wow. Monahans Riverside, an early fumble in that one, helping out Monahans, again, up 21-7 at halftime. In the second quarter, Clint and Big Spring battling it out in Big Spring. Big Spring leads it 20-16 in the second quarter, so close game there. We'll keep an eye on that one.
One quick one from in-town. Joey Panisi just sends us in. Devin Rubio, a 15-yard touchdown reception. El Dorado jumps out on top of Esleta, 7-0, just under 10 minutes left in the first quarter.
So first score of the night in El Paso comes from the El Dorado Aztecs. They lead the Isleta Indians early on, 7-0. And Thursday night action, one update in case you missed anything, the Burgess Mustangs topped the Jefferson Silver Foxes 28-22. Paul, you were at that game. How did Burgess look in that one?
Well, Tavares Jones looked great. A lot of drop passes. All the receivers took turns dropping passes. Andrew Rutledge, quarterback, looked a little better throwing it than I thought. But Tavares Jones, unbelievable. You can see the speed, and he's vicious. He finishes guys. One tackler he finished off with a helmet to the chest. It's supposed to be illegal, but when you're Tavares Jones, maybe you get away with it. And he has a tough stiff arm as well, but. Late in the game, going down about every third play, he has some nagging issue. It kept re-aggravating. But when Burgess trying to hold on, 3rd and 11 from around midfield, they have a 6-point lead, about 4 minutes on the clock. They're trying to run the clock out. What do? They line up Tavares Jones first time all night, split out wide to the left. What do? They just throw him a fade, throw it up in the air. Jones just goes and gets it. He's a phenomenal athlete, 26-yard gain. Jeff out of timeouts, and they were just able to run the ball and run out the clock. Jeff got it for one play of 5 seconds under their own 5-yard line. 2 seconds left in the game. It'd go 95, and you got a chance to win this thing. So, Tavares looked great. Some of that defense looked good as well. This kid, Keo Savea, 2 technique for the Mustangs. He's a kid we're going to be seeing in the All-Star game this year.
Burgess Mustangs improved to 3-2 last night with a win over Jefferson, 28-22, another 5A action. The Chapin Huskies get their 3rd win under the second-year head coach Ryan Warner. Chapin defeated Austin 43-13. But then in 6A, possibly the upset of the year, Pebble Hills, a late 2-point conversion. They defeat the Eastwood Troopers 29-28. Pebble Hills going... Mark Torres, head coach, running for the juggler there at the end. Talk about that and the gutsy call there at the end.
Yeah, with that and a gutsy call with a sophomore quarterback. By the way, I think the quarterback controversy or competition, I think that's over. Gael Ochoa and Jacob Ledesma have been splitting snaps. Ochoa had a huge game a couple of weeks ago. Last time Pebble Hills played, and again last night, quarterbacks him down the field, down almost the entire night, but a late drive, 30 seconds left in the game. Ochoa punches it in on the quarterback keep. They decided to go for two, down a point they could have kicked and gone into OT. That's not the way they do things these days, especially over the last 10 years or so. Let's, as you said, go for the jugular, and they did. Eastwood helped, jumped offside, half the distance from the yard and a half. Ochoa keeps again into the end zone. Gave the ball back to Eastwood, 30 seconds left, not enough time to do anything. Eastwood, a young receiving core, and the worst part of it, Isaac Pena, the one returner. A guy's been clutch. Last couple of years, even as a third receiver, he was their number one guy. Off to a great start, 8 catches, 100, close to 150 yards week one against Parkland. Got hit, knocked out, ACL. He's done for the season. So a young receiving group, that Coach Lopez likes, but without their leader. Pena was the leader of that group. He's no longer around. In a way, they're going to have to kind of figure it out for themselves.
And once again, Pebble Hills, an eye-opening district victory to open up district play, 29-28 over the Eastwood Troopers at home at the SAC. Both teams Pebble Hills improves to 2-2. Eastwood falls to 2-2, but Pebble Hills, that all-important 1-0 in district. In other action last night, McCamey topped Anthony 34-2, and Seagraves topped winless Tornillo 56-0. Early on tonight, a battle of undefeateds between Riverside and Monahans. Monahans up on Riverside at halftime, 21-7, and still early on in the second quarter, Big Spring over Clint, 20-16.
And it's just in Canutillo Mountain View. LJ Martin, I think you mentioned his name maybe a couple of times. Let's do it one more time. 21-yard touchdown run. LJ Martin had 4 touchdowns last week, has 1 more this week, and it's still early. 7:21 left in the first quarter. 7-0. They lead Mountain View.
All right. We're going to take a break here on Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. We'll do a roundtable with all of our reporters live out in the field. That's next. You're listening to Football Friday Night. Welcome back to Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. You're listening to the most comprehensive high school football show in the borderland, Football Friday Night. We want to thank our sponsors, Cisco Movers, for sponsoring our game of the week. Other sponsors include Longhorn Distributing, the El Paso Association of Builders, Greater El Paso Football Showcase, Prep One with all the pictures on our website, 600ESPNElPaso.com, Taco Avocat, and also Union Draft House on Sunland Park, host to our post-game get-together. Some scores all around town at halftime. Monahans leads Riverside 21-7. Big Spring over Clint in the second quarter, 20-16. La Mesa over Fabens, 7-6. That one in the first quarter. Around El Paso, El Dorado scores first over Isleta. They lead 7-0 in the first. Horizon over Bel Air, 8-0 in the first quarter. Canutillo gets on the board thanks to an L.J. Martin touchdown run. Canutillo up on Mountain View, 7-0. And then early on, this report from Alex Nicholas out at the SAC. Eastlake already 2 possessions tonight in their game at the SAC against Americus. 2 possessions for Eastlake, a punt, and then a missed field goal, while Americus threw an interception on their first possession. So no score between Eastlake and Americus. We'll get a report in just a moment from Alex Nicholas. First, to our Cisco Movers Game of the Week. Let's head out to Steve Escajeda and Cougar Stadium, where Franklin is hosting Montwood. Steve, take it away.
We've got 3:55 to go in the opening quarter, and things are kind of slow for the most part, but Franklin has just scored to take a 7-0 lead over Montwood. Quarterback Cameron Bird just hitting both Sparks with a 46-yard touchdown pass, again, to put the Cougars on top. So far, Cameron, 4 out of 5 on the night, 64 yards, and, of course, that 1 touchdown pass. For Sparks, 3 catches already, 54 yards, and a score. And, again, both teams come into this one 1-2. Tough schedule so far for each team, and tonight we're going to see more of how this team really is there for the rest of the season. And, again, both teams kind of filling each other out for most of the first quarter and until Franklin just scored on that long 46-yard touchdown pass. 3:45 to go in the first quarter. Franklin out in front of Montwood, 7-0.
All right, Steve, thank you very much. 7-0 Franklin over Maltwood. An interesting game there. Remember, Darren Walker back on the sidelines for the Franklin Cougars. We'll have more from Steve on Coach Walker. Good to see him back. Lee McWhorter has really done a nice job for the Franklin Cougars, filling in for Darren Walker. So good to see Walker back, and they've worked really well over the years at Chapin and at Franklin High School. Let's now head out to the SAC. 3-0 Eastlake taking on 0-3 Americus. Let's head out to Alex Nicholas with a call from the SAC. Alex.
40 seconds left in our opening quarter, and Eastlake and Americas are scoreless. This has been a defensive struggle to start off the ballgame. Americas with a little wrinkle this evening, though. They get back what Patrick Melton tells me before the game, their projected starter heading into the season, Jacob Caraballo, started at quarterback, but threw an interception after the defense forced a 3-and-out. Eastlake would actually miss a field goal on the ensuing possession as they would take over in America's territory. And then after another Eastlake stop, right now the Falcons are driving. They're on a 11-play, 48-yard drive. They're inside the America's 23-yard line, facing a 4th down and 8 with 40 seconds left here in our opening quarter, and Eastlake and Americas are scoreless.
All right, Alex, thank you very much. Looking like we might have a chance for a field goal here soon. Maybe puts the first points of the board on the game at the SAC, but no score between Eastlake and Americus. Kind of surprising right now. Eastlake arguably coming in at the top as a top team in the city, taking on winless Americus. But always knowing Patrick Melton always has his team ready to go at Americus.
Yeah, and hanging in early, and that's bad for Eastlake. When you're the big dog, the longer you let somebody hang around, it could turn into a game before you know it.
Absolutely. Let's head out to a fun one between Del Valle and Parkland. Coach Jaime Chavez at Matador Stadium. Del Valle coming in 3-1, while Parkland 1-3. Coach, what do you got at Matador Stadium?
At 1:06 left in the first quarter, no score between Parkland and Del Valle. The defenses have taken over this one, but even though Del Valle is their point guard now, they move the ball well into Parkland territory. And speaking of Parkland, the quarterback is Isaiah Beasley, the leading running back for Parkland, because the starting quarterbacks are out. They've been injured, Jose Minjares and Brian Albaran. So Isaiah Beasley, the leading rusher for Parkland, 79 carries and 481 yards and 8 touchdowns rushing. He's been the quarterback thus far. But Jesse Ramos is trying to get his team, the Del Valle quarterback, he's trying to get him in the end zone, and he's trying to pick up that offense. He's 5 of 7, 47 yards passing, and he also leads all rushers. He's got 4 carries and 14 yards rushing. So we've got a fast-moving game here in Northeast El Paso. 32 seconds left in the first quarter. No score between Parkland and Del Valle.
I guess Eric Franz finally figured out a way to get the ball to Isaiah Beasley. He's his best player. We'll just line him at quarterback. We've talked about, they are having a fight there as to, who our quarterback is. And, this might be an opportunity. Beasley may be in because we got a couple of guys hurt this week, but who knows 2 or 3 weeks down the line.
Hey, we're thinking it might be a letdown between the Canutillo Eagles and Mountain View Lobos. Canutillo coming off a big win over Del Valle in overtime last week. Well, so far, no letdown tonight. L.J. Martin with his second touchdown run in the first quarter as Canutillo leads 14-0 over Mountain View. Hey, let's head out more to the reservation. Reach out to Joey Panisi with an update on El Dorado and Isleta. Joey, take it away.
Yes, from Hutchins Stadium, home of the Isleta Indians, the score in the first quarter with 1:41 left is El Dorado 10, Isleta 0. This first quarter has belonged to El Dorado. Behind the legs of, 9 carries, 79 yards of Isaiah Ludison. He looks like Bo Jackson out there. Their first possession, they rumbled from the 35-yard line to the 13, whereupon Rudison had softened up the defense, and Devin Rubio connected on a 13-yard strike to Ricardo Portillo. Next possession, Isleta stalls. El Dorado gets it back, and Noah Moreno kicks a 19-yard field goal to give El Dorado the 10-0 lead. Isleta is now driving. They're down to the 15-yard line with 1 minute and 19 seconds. I take that back. Isleta just fumbled. El Dorado takes over at the 15-yard line. Sending it back to you with 1:19 left in the first quarter. It's all El Dorado as they lead the Indians by a score of 10-0.
And, Beau, it looks like that Franklin Cougar momentum from a couple of weeks ago at Andrus continues. Matt Chavez, a 5-yard interception return. Look at Monwood throwing the ball deep in their own end zone. Mistake this time. 5-yard interception return for the score. Franklin now up 13-0 over the Montwood Rams.
Wow, the Montwood Rams and Franklin Cougars in our Cisco Movers game of the week. We'll have an update from Steve Escajeda in just a few minutes. All right, 10-0 El Dorado over Isleta. Thank you very much, Joey. Let's head out to Joe Rodriguez in Highlander Stadium. An exciting first quarter between Horizon and Bel Air. Joe, what do you got at Highlander Stadium?
Thank you very much, Beau. 11:22 to go in the second quarter of fast-moving first quarter, and we have a tight ball game out here at Highlander Stadium between the Horizon Scorpions and the Bel Air Highlanders by the score of 7-7. Horizon took their opening possession, 64 yards in 15 plays. Yes, you heard that correct. 15 plays that ended in a 9-yard touchdown run by Jesus Santana. The quarterback keeper for the 2-point conversion was good on that, and it should be noted that on that possession of the Horizon Scorpions went for it on fourth down once to keep the drive alive, and obviously converted on that. And as I'm telling you this right now, Horizon has just scored again, a 22-yard touchdown pass by the Horizon Scorpions, and they are going for 2 again. Going back to what happened on Bel Air on the ensuing possession, their first possession of the game, they went 70 yards in 6 plays, a 15-yard run by 15-yard touchdown run by Nick Chavira. The extra point was good on that. And like I said, right now, they went for it on 2 again, the Horizon Scorpions, and they converted. So with 10:54 left in the second quarter, it is Horizon now leading the Bel Air Highlanders by the score of 16-7.
All right, Joe, thank you very much. Wow, a touchdown and a 2-point conversion as Horizon takes a 16-7 lead in the second quarter. Most scores, most touchdowns so far early on in this one out of all the games in the city. So thank you very much, Joe. Hey, Canutillo got 2 early touchdowns from L.J. Martin. Let's see if he's gotten another one in the last 2 minutes. Let's head out to the Iceman, Brandon Cohn at Julius and Irene Lowenberg Stadium for an update of Mountain View and Canutillo. Brandon, take it away.
45 seconds in this opening quarter, and Canutillo with a 20-0 lead, barring an extra point as quarterback Devin Granados calls his own numbers, scores on a 1-yard keeper. Let's go back and rewind. This has been a high-scoring first quarter by the Eagles on this homecoming evening at Lowenberg Stadium. Now, Canutillo's first possession, excellent starting field position at their own 45. 4 plays later at the 7:18 mark of the first, their star running back, L.J. Martin, is a beast. He can't be stopped as he rumbles right up the middle. A 21-yard TD, his 6th rushing touchdown of the season to put the Eagles up 7-0 over Mountain View. Then Canutillo's second possession, great starting field position again, this time from the Mountain View 40, thanks to a beautiful 30-yard return by their wideout, Lorenzo Adiola. Then at the 4:06 mark here, the first 2 plays later, Canutillo running back L.J. Martin, again, the man, the myth, the legend, scores his second TD of the first quarter, this time a 10-yard score, giving the Eagles a 14-0 lead over Mountain View. At the 2:12 mark here, the first, Mountain View junior Saucino, deep in his own territory, ends up throwing an interception picked by Canutillo's defensive back, Isaiah Chavez, who takes it all the way to the Mountain View 13-yard line. And then, as I was just noting, a couple plays later, Canutillo ends up with a 4th and 2 with their own 5. And then quarterback Devin Granados gets the first down on a 3-yard gain. Next play ends up scoring on the 1-yard keeper. We have 45 seconds in the opening quarter here at Canutillo. It's all Eagles, 21-0 over Mountain View.
All right, Brandon, thank you very much. Boy, the Eagles soaring high over the Mountain View Lobos at Lowenberg Stadium. 21-0 at the end of the first quarter. We have a score update from you at Matador Stadium. The Novi Conquistadors up 7-0 over the Parkland Matadors. Hey, let's head out to Hanks High School as we welcome back Isaiah Ramirez. and Excalibur Stadium host to the fifth-ranked team in the state, the Lubbock Cooper Pirates. Isaiah, what do you got at Excalibur Stadium, and welcome back.
Thanks, Bo. We got an interesting one out here at Excalibur Stadium with the Lubbock Cooper Pirates leading the Hanks Knights 10-7 with 29 seconds remaining in the first quarter. The Pirates struck first with a 11-yard touchdown for running back Caden Chambers. He now has 5 carries with 50 yards on the night for the Pirates. As far as the Knights go, they just tacked on a touchdown with a 26-yard receiving touchdown from quarterback Luis Pettis to receiver Eddie Alex Coleman for the Knights. The Knights have already recovered 2 fumbles from the Pirates coming into this game, as you alluded to, Bo. Fifth-ranked team in the state without their starting quarterback, Holt Gibson, who's been out since the matchup against Friendship. The Abilene Christian University baseball commit is replaced by a sophomore quarterback standing at 6'6". He's a pretty large dude, Bryce LeBlanc, who is 4 for 7 for 40 yards on the night so far. The Hanks Knights making an interesting one out here at Excalibur Stadium. Once again now with 24 seconds remaining in the first quarter, it is Lubbock Cooper leading the Hanks Knights 10-7.
Wow, what a game there. Thank you so much, Isaiah. Welcome back, and you get a good one so far first quarter. Hanks hanging in there with Lubbock Cooper. It kind of surprised you a little bit?
Yeah, I want to see the guys in the uniforms. In fact, I sent Isaiah today. I grabbed a box from week 2, the Friendship game, 14-13. Losers Lubbock Cooper was, and I sent him to Isaiah, and I said, hey, make sure that the guys you see on the field are the guys that are in this box right here. I don't want them slipping in a bunch of JV guys in those Cooper uniforms. By the way, speaking of Cooper, no Jeremiah Cooper tonight, didn't suit out for the Andress Eagles. They're playing the Bowie Bears, so maybe you can pass it off. But, then again, who knows? I guess we'll find out during the week.
Well, let's get an update on Andress and Bowie over at Beatty Smang Stadium. Let's welcome in Adrian Broadus with an update. Adrian, what do you got between Bowie and Andress?
Andress up 12-8 right now over Bowie. First quarter action in that game. Also another scoring update. Irvin on top of El Paso, 7-0. Back to you guys.
All right, Adrian, thank you very much.
One thing about Bowie, and by the way, I mean, it's, again, amazing. As amazing as it is that the Hanks Knights are within 10-7 of Lubbock Cooper after almost 12 minutes of play, the fact that Bowie is, I don't know what that was, 12-8, I guess I heard. Last week they made a change at quarterback. Aaron Morales, the little lefty, they like getting him the ball, but they decided to get him away from the quarterback position so they could get the ball to him instead of him getting the ball to somebody else. Their quarterback, Abe Karanko, a freshman, 3 out of 19 a week ago. Of course, they were overmatched in that Andress contest, but going with a freshman, and it's rebuilding time for the Bowie Bears. Maybe that turns into something 3 or 4 years from now. But right now, maybe chaos or maybe not. 12-8 in the first quarter.
12-8. The Bowie Bears have 8 points already on the Andress Eagles. Hey, fun one over at T-Bird Stadium. Coronado looking for their first victory of the season, hosting the Socorro Bulldogs. Let's head out to reporter J.D. Sursley with an update from Thunderbird Stadium. J.D.
8:47 left in the second quarter. We have a real hard pounder here. It is 0-0, several punts. Once Coronado actually got something going, they fumbled in the goal line. And shame on Socorro for not getting Isai Aguilar going from the jump. He's averaging 118 yards per game on the ground. So, shame on them for not letting him do his thing early on. So it is still 0-0, 8:20 left in the second quarter.
And the quarterback, Isai Aguilar, he's the guy that makes him go 160 yards plus a week ago, 3 touchdowns for that first win in 6 football seasons, at least on the field for the Socorro Bulldogs. It's going to be the same thing tonight. If Aguilar doesn't do it, it's not going to get done for Socorro.
It's not going to get done for Coronado if they keep fumbling on their goal line, too. So that'll do it for you every time.
Yeah, welcome to 2021 Coronado Thunderbird football.
All right, let's head out to our Cisco Movers Game of the Week. Montwood at Franklin. Get an update from Steve Escajeda at this fun one at Cougar Stadium. Steve, take it away.
We've just come to the end of the first quarter, and Franklin is out in front of Montwood 13-0. We last reported that Franklin had just scored on a 46-yard touchdown pass. It took about 30 seconds. Montwood got the ball back, and their quarterback, Kevin Melendez, was intercepted at the 5-yard line by Matt Chavez of Franklin, running into the score. the extra point with no good, and that's where we stand. Just about to start the second quarter. Franklin up 13-0. Again, so far, Cameron Bird, 4 out of 5, 64 yards, and that's touchdown pass. And again, Bo Sparks, 3 catches, 54 yards, and a score. And that's been it so far. Again, a defensive struggle. But Montwood, again, right now they're got to get something going. They've got the ball inside the 15-yard line of Franklin. So, again, they're going to try to get a score here, see if they can get a little bit closer in this ball game. We're about to start the second quarter. It is Franklin 13, Montwood 0.
All right, Steve, thank you very much. End of the first out at homecoming at Franklin High School, and they're up 13-0. So they've really come to play for homecoming in front of their fans, their first home game of the season. So nice for the Franklin Cougars that they're up 13-0.
And Bo, this just in from Parkland Matador Stadium. More bad news for the homestanders. Christian Martinez, a 15-yard touchdown reception. Del Valle getting back to maybe the team they were a couple of weeks ago before they stubbed their toes, every single one of them last week at Canutillo. 14-0 now, Del Valle on top of Parkland.
14-0. We'll get a report from Coach Jaime Chavez in just a little bit, and we'll do a score breakdown and have more from our reporters after this break. You're listening to Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso.
You're listening to Football Friday Night on 600 ESPN El Paso. Let's go back to Beau Bagley and Paul MacKinnon.
All right, thank you very much. Welcome back to Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. Some score updates from you. In our Cisco Movers game of the week, the Franklin Cougars lead the Montwood Rams 13-0 at the end of the first quarter. No score between Eastlake and Americus. We'll have an update from Alex Nicholas in just a moment. Dovai leads Parkland in the second 14-0. Also, El Dorado is topping Isleta so far early in the first half, 17-0. Joe Rodriguez had a call live right here on air, 16-7 Horizon over Bel Air.
22-yard touchdown pass to Aaron Barreno.
There we go. Canutillo, 2 touchdowns already from L.J. Martin as Canutillo leads the Mountain View Lobos 21-0 in the first. Lubbock, Cooper, and Hanks. Hanks hanging in there with the 5th-ranked team in the state. 10-7 Lubbock Cooper over Hanks in the first quarter.
And in the Battle of Coronado and Socorro, Ricky Lazoya, 20-yard touchdown run. The Coronado Thunderbirds take a 7-0 lead. I don't know if they've led yet this season.
I think that might be their first lead as well. Early on in that one, 7-0 Coronado. Coronado looking for their first victory of the season. We'll hear from J.D. Sursley in just a moment. In other action, Andrus leads Bowie 12-8 in the first. Irvin over El Paso 7-0 in the first quarter. Monahans up on Riverside. Both teams undefeated in this one. 28-7 in the third quarter. La Mesa over Fabens early on 7-6. Big Spring over Clint in the second quarter 20-16. Up in the land of enchantment, Mayfield and Roswell tied at 14 in the second quarter. This early on in this game at Austin High School, San Eli leads Cathedral 8-7. Or I should say that's Santa Teresa over Ruidoso 8-7 early in that game. We'll get an update from San Eli and Cathedral in just a little bit. In the first, it is Santa Teresa 8, Ruidoso 7. Those teams have combined 7-2 on the young season, so good battle there between Santa Teresa and Ruidoso.
And Bo, looks like the route is on out at Lowenberg Stadium. Quarterback Devin Granados, a 15-yard touchdown on the keeper. Canutillo now up 28-0 over 4A Mountain View.
Woo, 28-0. Brandon Cohn will have an update in just a little bit. Hey, let's head out to the SAC and see if there's been a score between Eastlake and Americus. Let's join Alex Nicholas with an update from the SAC. Alex.
5:20 left until halftime, and it's a surprise in District 1-6A when you're almost halfway through the first half, and you are scoreless as Americus and Eastlake continue to grind it out on the defensive side. Eastlake just really coming out, not sharp as we've seen them in the first 3 weeks. Their drive chart so far in their first 5 drives: a punt, missed 40-yard field goal, a turnover, an interception by America's Renee Holguin, and then a punt. So we're seeing missed assignments up front. America's is running an even front, which I think is really throwing off Eastlake. They're missing a lot of assignments. I have 20 yards, 25 yards in penalties 15 of those coming on pre-snap penalties. For Americas, they've made the change. Mark Moore is back in at quarterback, but Caesar Drennan only 2 touches, actually gets a touch here for his third of the game. He's stuffed just as it's been this evening. Both defenses really digging in here, and some mistakes compounding Eastlake's slow start, something we haven't seen from the 3-0 Falcons. 4:30 and running left here until halftime. Americas and Eastlake are scoreless.
Wow, no score between the Falcons and the Trailblazers at the Sac. Surprising there, but as Alex just said, a couple turnovers dooming the Eastlake Falcons so far early on in this game.
I was just going to say, it sounds like from what Alex is telling us, maybe America's a different brand of attack, trying to throw the ball a little bit more when your bell cow, really, that's Caesar Drennan. He's only touched the ball a couple of times. Maybe a couple of weeks ago when they were able to throw the football late against Del Valle, that set off a light bulb amongst Patrick Melton and the rest of America's high coaching staff. They said, hey, maybe we could try this, and I think they are tonight.
And there you go. No score between Eastlake and Americas. All right, let's head back out to Matador Stadium. Join Coach Jaime Chavez. Del Valle struck early in this one. Let's see if they can add on to their lead. Coach, take it away between Del Valle and Parkland.
Steve Escajeda, I believe it is.
Steve Escajeda back in the call. Well, let's go back to our Cisco Movers game of the week and join Steve for an update. Steve.
We've got 8:07 and counting here to go in the second quarter, and Franklin now in front of Montwood 13-7. Montwood scoring on an Isaiah Claudio 1-yard touchdown run. Again, the extra point was good to make it 13-7. Franklin got the ensuing kickoff. They just went 3 and out and punted the ball back to Montwood. So right now the Rams have the ball on the Franklin 41-yard line, second down and 10 from there. So you can see things kind of shifting a little bit. We had said earlier that at least Montwood had the better of this series in the last 5 years, winning 4 of the last 5 contests and averaging over 42 points a game in those 5 years. So, again, Montwood's kind of getting their feet, this thing shifted now. They've turned the field, and again, they've got the ball in Franklin territory. And, in fact, now they've advanced it down to the 39-yard line. So with 7:43 to go here in the second quarter, it is now Franklin 13, Montwood 7.
All right, Steve, thank you very much. 13-7, Franklin over Montwood in our Cisco Movers game of the week. I got to hand it to Angel Munoz, our producer here. I have no idea what game is coming next, and he's got it like lightning. So thank you, Angel. That was my fault. I'm not sure what's next. But, Steve, thank you very much. Now let's head back out to Jaime Chavez in Matador Stadium, where he's standing by with an update from Del Valle and Parkland. Coach, take it away.
5:13 left in the half. It is now Del Valle 21 and Parkland 0. Brandon Tejas scored on a 14-yard touchdown run on a reverse, and the Isaac Williams extra point is good. Jesse Ramos coming on strong for Del Valle tonight, the quarterback. He's got a 5-yard touchdown run and also a 15-yard touchdown pass to Christian Martinez. Those extra points were good. Ramos, he's 11 of 13 for 107 yards passing and 1 touchdown. He's got 6 carries, 23 yards rushing, and 1 rushing TD. And the new quarterback for Parkland is Eric Ortiz, and he's in relief for Isaiah Bailey, who started out as quarterback for Parkland tonight, but Bailey has moved back to tailback. Bailey's got Isaiah Beasley, that is, for Parkland. He's got 5 carries, 21 yards rushing, and on his first throw this evening, Eric Ortiz throws an interception to Del Valle's Brandon Tejas, and that helps set up the touchdown pass to Christian Martinez. So we've got 4:52 left in the half at Matador Stadium. It's all Del Valle. Del Valle 21, Parkland 0.
So now, Beau, you're down to your 4th quarterback. You're down 21-zip to a Del Valle team that's among the best in the city. I'd call them top 5. Tough road to hoe for the Parkland Matadors. They just need to get a quarterback healthy and, go attack District 1-5A it is these days. It's still going to come down. Don't fret, Parkland Matador fans out there. It's still going to come down to the Canutillo Parkland game for who's king in that district.
Absolutely. 3-1 Del Valle leading 1-3 Parkland, 21-0 in the second quarter. Thank you very much, Coach, for that update. Let's head out to the reservation, Hutchins Stadium. The Isleta Indians hosting the El Dorado Aztecs. El Dorado, at last check, was up 17-0. Let's get an update from Joey Panisi at Hutchins Stadium. Joey, take it away.
Yes, from Isleta High School with 4 minutes and 20 seconds left in the class. It's now El Dorado 24, Isleta 0. I was going to say it's the Isaiah Rudson show from El Dorado, but the young man just fumbled it back to Isleta. Isleta will take over at the 35-yard line, but it's been all him and Quincy Estrada. El Dorado coach Frank Martinez decided to switch quarterback, even though Ricardo Portillo had thrown for a 13-yard touchdown, but he saw something. So Quincy Estrada came in there and using Isaiah Rudson as his decoy, if you will, softening up the defense, he was able to scramble for over 70 yards and 2 touchdowns. El Dorado is dominating both sides of the ball. Star quarterback from Isleta, Damian Contreras, he's accounted for 15 touchdowns for Isleta. He's just been hurried all night long. His receivers are double covered, and Isleta just can't get any running going. So unless Isleta comes up with something, El Dorado's going to dominate this game. Like I say, Quincy Estrada, 2 big touchdowns, sending it back with 4:12 left in the second quarter. It's the El Dorado Aztecs 24, the Isleta Indians 0.
And, Bo, you can tell that Joey's an ex-coach because, he broke it down exactly correctly. The more athletic Quincy Estrada, remember this kid got his ankle turned week 1, missed a couple of games, got a few snaps last week. Excuse me, not El Dorado played. They're not in 6A anymore. It's so hard to keep track of who's in what district. Estrada got a few snaps last week, but I think more and more he's a much more athletic quarterback than Portillo. Portillo's the thrower. Estrada definitely the runner. The lion's share of the snaps last season in COVID 2020. Rushed for all the yards, threw for all the yards. He was the guy. Remember, he tried to, Alex Nicholas was telling us week 1, he tried to transfer to Parkland over the season. Once Frankie Martinez grabbed that job, he said, no, young man, you're going to stay right here. I'm sure Parkland is wishing he had made that transfer right about now on their 4th-string quarterback, but Dorado just as happy to have him around as that kid gets healthier and healthier. See, I think Dorado is still a little bit of a puzzle. I'm not sure we know what they're going to be. We know what they've been through the first month, but as Estrada gets healthier, and he is a playmaker, more so with his feet than with his arm, it's going to be curious to see what this El Dorado team turns into in that Super 5A district.
And El Dorado coming off a 30-27 victory over Clint last week, extending that momentum from last week to this week, up 24-0 late in the second quarter over Isleta at the Hutchins Stadium. Hey, let's hit an exciting first half between Horizon and Bel Air at Highlander Stadium. Let's get an update from Joe Rodriguez at Bel Air and Horizon. Joe, take it away.
2:18 to go in the second quarter, and it is Horizon leading the Bel Air Highlanders by the score of 32-14. When I just gave my last report, Horizon had just scored. The quarterback Quijas went to Aaron Barrero on a 22-yard touchdown pass. From there, Horizon scored again. Once again, it was Quijas to Ernie Gomez. This time it was a 34-yard touchdown pass. At that point, it was 7:33 left in the second quarter, and it was 24-7 Horizon. Horizon going for 2 on each one of those touchdown passes, and then Horizon extended once again another 23-yard touchdown pass from Jacob Quijas to Angel Martinez to make it 32-7 with 4 minutes left in the second quarter. And Bel Air, in their last possession, just answered a 6-play, 66-yard touchdown drive to make it to end with a 40-yard touchdown pass from Noah Moreno to Christian Baxter to make it 32-14. And right now, as I'm bringing in this report, the Horizon Scorpions just returned it pretty much the length of a field, a more than 80-yard touchdown return on the kickoff. It wasn't a touchdown. Excuse me. The returner ran it back inside the 5-yard line, so it is 2nd and goal from the Bel Air 2-yard line. I'm going to go ahead and send it back to you with 1:40 left in the second quarter. It is Horizon leading Bel Air 32-14.
All right, Joe, thank you very much. Boy, high-scoring first half between Horizon and Bel Air. We have an update from our Cisco Movers game of the week. Maltwood has just scored again. They take a 1-point lead over the Franklin Cougars. They lead 14-13. Let's head back out to Lowenberg Stadium. We'll have an update on our game of the week from Steve Escajeda in just a moment. Let's head back out to Lowenberg Stadium and join Brandon Cohn, the Iceman, with an update on Mountain View and Canutillo. Brandon.
3:42 remaining here in the opening half, and it's all Canutillo, 34-0 over Mountain View. At the 11:47 mark here of the second quarter, Mountain View commits their second turnover of the first half as their wideout Gael Morillo fumbles at his own 40, picked up by Canutillo's linebacker Gio Frey, taken to the Lobos 30. Then at the 8:41 mark of the second, Canutillo quarterback Granados, he scores his second touchdown of the first half, this time a 15-yard keeper, giving the Eagles a 28-0 lead over Mountain View. Now to add insult to injury at the 4:44 mark here of the second quarter, Canutillo wideout Lorenzo Areola takes a Mountain View punt 65 yards all the way to the house for the touchdown, giving the Eagles a 34-0 lead over Mountain View. And we will keep you updated on all the other scoring, but 2:56 remaining here in the opening half. It's all Canutillo, and they just got a safety, so their defense is just on fire tonight. So now 36-0 Canutillo over Mountain View.
I'm guessing maybe L.J. Martin, the safety right there. I mean, the kid does it all. Defense, offense. You want it done, he'll do it for you. 36-0 Canutillo over Mountain View. Hey, an exciting game of the week at Cisco Movers. We'll head back out to our Cisco Movers game of the week in just a moment. Let's head back out to Excalibur Stadium, get an update on Lubbock Cooper and Hanks from Isaiah Ramirez. Isaiah, take it away.
With 5 minutes and 16 seconds remaining in the second quarter, is the Lubbock Cooper Pirates taking on the Hanks Knights. The Lubbock Cooper Pirates are leading 34-7. It has gotten ugly since the last time I spoke to you, gentlemen. The Pirates have gone on a 24-0 run. It has started off with a 14-yard field goal by the Pirates. In return, it was a Bryce LeBlanc 15-yard reception that set up Bryce LeBlanc throw for a 15-yard reception, setting up a 1-yard touchdown run by the Pirates' Caden Chambers. On the next drive, the Knights threw a pick six to 4-star recruit for the Pirates, Kobe McKenzie, an Oklahoma University commit, with a 22-yard pick six. The very next drive, the Knights had a player 3 and out. They were held by the stifling Pirate defense, and in return, it was a 44-yard punt return for the Lubbock Cooper Pirates here on homecoming night for the Knights. So things have gotten a complete 360 for the last time I spoke to you guys. But let's see what happens as the Knights go with 5 minutes and 7 seconds left in the second quarter. It is Lubbock Cooper leading the Hanks Knights 34-7.
We are who they are. They are who we thought they were.
There you go.
The 5th-ranked team in the state, 24 unanswered points. Wow, up 34-7 over the Hanks Knights at Excalibur Stadium. Exciting game of the week. Cisco Movers game of the week between Franklin and Maltwood. Let's head out to Cougar Stadium and join Steve Escajeda with an update. Steve. Okay, we'll head back out to Steve in just a moment.
Yeah, I think he has breaking action there. So maybe with a real-time update, Steve Escajeda. You just mentioned that Maltwood jumped out on top of Franklin 14-13, and I think Escajeda is going to tell us how that happened when we get to him.
Absolutely. Franklin taking a 13-0 lead in the first quarter, but Maltwood storming back with 2 unanswered touchdowns, so they lead 14-13. We'll hear from Steve in just a moment. Let's get an update from all the other games around town from Adrian Broadus. Adrian, take it away.
Bowie's on top of Andrews right now, 16-12 in the second quarter.
Wow.
Also going on right now at the half, Irvin 13, El Paso 13, tie game right now. And so those are the couple updates I've got for you guys right now. Let's send it back to you all.
Adrian, thank you very much. 16-12, Bowie over Andrus. This could be the upset of the night.
Yeah, I wouldn't put my money on it. Do remember that Jeremiah Cooper didn't dress tonight for the contest. Maybe Andrus thinking, we might not need him tonight. Not so fast, my friends.
Absolutely. All right, let's head back out to our Cisco Movers game of the week. Join Steve Escajeda with an update on Maltwood and Franklin. Steve.
We've got 5:14 to go in the second quarter, and Franklin now leads it 21-14. Montwood actually took a 14-13 lead at the 7:05 mark of the quarter when quarterback Kevin Melendez hit, guess who, guys? Yamil Oaxaca for a 40-yard touchdown pass to make it 14-13. Then a minute and a half later, Franklin drove down the field, answering with a Miles McWhorter 15-yard touchdown run. The try for two was good. And right now we're standing at 21-14 Franklin. And in fact, the Cougars have the ball on the Montwood 30-yard line, driving again. They just threw a pass, going for a touchdown into the end zone just a little bit too long. And they're looking at a second down and 10 from the Montwood 30-yard line. So things have really heated up here in the last quarter or so. A wild one here so far on the west side. 5:06 to go before halftime. It is Franklin 21, Montwood 14.
Boy, this one's going to turn in a drop of a hat. Gets a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. Now the Franklin Cougars back on top, 21-14. Thank you so much, Steve. Let's head out to Thunderbird Stadium, get an update on Socorro and Coronado. At last check, it was 7-0 T-Birds. Let's head out to J.D. Sursley for an update. J.D., take it away.
We are at halftime, and it is still 7-0. Like y'all reported earlier, Ricky Lazoya with the only touchdown thus far. We have had multiple quarterback changes, one for each team. Owen Lebesque is now taking the reins at Coronado, and Jose Aguilar, who should have been from the jump starting at Socorro, is now taking the reins. But hats off to Coronado so far. They have kept Aguilar off the pretty complete. So still 7-0 at halftime.
All right, JD, thank you so much. 7-0 at the half. A quick first half between Coronado and Socorro. Coronado getting their first lead of the season, up 7-0, looking for the first victory of the season over the Socorro Bulldogs. All right, now let's head out to our out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by Longhorn Distributing, the only hot seat dealer in West Texas and southern New Mexico. Your source for cleaning equipment, service, and supplies. Longhorn Distributing, 5516 East Paisano Drive in El Paso. Paul, take it away.
Bo, thanks so much. Abbreviated scoreboard this early in the night. Wolford Friendship, 3-1 going to the contest, 28-20. They lead San Angelo Central. Central just 2-2 on the season. This one... the internet, I always say, this is qualified. It's coming from the internet, kind of like the Wild Wild West. Sometimes you get something real, and sometimes you get something made up. Midland High, 1-3 coming in, 28-7 over Odessa High. This is the same Odessa that came within a whisper of taking down Wichita Falls Rider a week ago. I think that was a 48-45 final. Odessa's playing well. Midland, not really. But tonight, 28-7, that's the score we have. We're going to stick with it until we find differently. Wow, that's a shocker if accurate. In Super 5A, Monterey leads Lubbock 41-7, looking to move to 3-2. Amarillo all over Caprock in the Battle of Amarillos. 24-3, they look to move to 4-1. Caprock just 1-3. Thursday nighter, Tascosa just keeps on rolling along. 47-6. They give Paladura their first L of the season as Tascosa moves to 4-1. Elsewhere, Canyon Randall up on Dumas 24-7. Dumas just a loss. Randall 2-2 coming into that one. Another Thursday nighter. Andrews with a big win over Lubbock Estacado. They played a tough non-district schedule, Andrews, as they moved to 2-3. Estacado falls to the same. And Fort Stockton all over Pecos early. 21-0. Remember, Pecos, that's the team that was up 31-6 a week ago over the Fabens Wildcats. Wildcats came most of the way back, but couldn't finish it off, eventually falling in that one, 31-26.
All right, Paul, thank you very much. Let's get an update from some other scores around town and out of town, like Ruidoso. The Ruidoso Warriors lead Santa Teresa 14-8. That's an interesting one there. At last check, it was 14 all between Mayfield and Roswell. La Mesa leads Faben 7-6. Monahans all over Riverside this late in the game there, 35-14. Monahans over Riverside. Both teams 4-0 coming into that one. The last check, Bowie leads Andress 16-12. Irvin and El Paso High tied at 13 in our Cisco Movers game of the week. Franklin leads Montwood 21-14. No score between Eastlake and Americus. 21-0 Delvi over Parkland. 24-0 El Dorado over Isleta, 32-14 Horizon over Bel Air, and 36-0 Canutillo over Mountain View early on.
Not so fast, my friend.
We got another one?
We have another L.J. Martin sighting with 2:19 left in the first half. Martin in from 15 yards out, 43-0. Canutillo feeling their oats after the big win against Del Valle a week ago. We didn't know where that came from. Well, maybe it was there all along because more of the same, flexing all over the Mountain View Lobos tonight. 3-1 coming in.
Woo, 43-0 Canutillo so far over Mountain View right before halftime. Before halftime, 34-7 Lubbock Cooper over Hanks. And at the half, Coronado leads Socorro 7-0. We're going to take a break, have much more on Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso.
You're listening to Football Friday Night on 600 ESPN El Paso. Let's go back to Beau Bagley and Paul MacKinnon.
All right, thank you very much, and welcome back to Football Friday Night, the Week 5 edition, right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. Some updates just going to halftime. Horizon all over Bel Air, 40-14. We'll have an update from Joe Rodriguez. Canutillo, last check, 43-0 over Mountain View, and El Dorado up top 31-0 over Isleta. Paul, bring you in here. Last week saw some great games, some close games down to the wire. Tonight, some blowouts.
Yeah, I guess that's why there's a yin and a yang. For every action, there's an equal reaction. We had all those tremendous games a week ago, and not so much tonight. But I can only say it's only halftime. If one team can score 31 in the first half, so can the other team.
Maybe the surprise of the night, the Bowie Bears and Andress Eagles. At last check, Bowie was up 16-12, but this just in. Andress has come back with a touchdown late in the second quarter, thanks to Colin Deaver out at NC9 overtime. Andress now leads Bowie 19-16, so a close one there. We'll get an update from Adrian Broadus in just a little bit.
And remember, no Jeremiah Cooper to go to in that one. Your stud athlete, he's not dressed tonight. So, if it gets tough and you get a little nervous because you're supposed to beat Bowie handily and it's not happening, you can't go to the big bad boy because he's not on the field.
Let's head out to our Cisco Movers Game of the Week and get an update from Montwood and Franklin. This one a very exciting first half. Let's go out to Steve Escojedo with an update. Steve.
It might get a little more exciting. We've got 1:32 to go before halftime. Franklin up 21-14, but Montwood is at the Franklin 12-yard line. 2nd and 10 from there. In fact, they've just snapped the ball to the quarterback. Melinda's going to keep it right up the middle, untouched for a touchdown. And Montwood is within 1 point, 21-20. No flags on the field. Quarterback, Kevin Melendez, swinging it in from 12 yards out. 1:24 to go even before the half. To put Montwood within 21-20 of Franklin. For Melendez, again, you got a touchdown pass tonight. Now a touchdown run. Again, well, let's go and see it. We have it as extra point. Again, 21-20 now. Franklin with just a minute 24 to go in the opening half. Let's see, Diego Savalas down there for the extra point. It is up, and it is good. So, 1:24 to go before the half. Here on the west side, we've got a barn burner here, guys. Franklin, 21. Montwood, 21.
Talk about perfect timing, getting out to our game of the week at the right time. Steve Escojedo with the call. Montwood punches it in to tie this game at 21. An exciting game there in the first half in our Cisco Movers Game of the Week. Montwood and Franklin tied at 21. Eastlake and Americus already at the half at the SAC. Let's get a halftime update from Alex Nicholas between Americus and Eastlake. Alex.
Homecoming halftime here at the SAC as Americas is celebrating their homecoming. And it's Eastlake 3, America's nothing here at the half. Julian Malucci would hit a 26-yard field goal kicking towards the south. That's left to right on your internet radio dial this evening from the right hash, and that would put the Falcons up 3-0. And like I mentioned, both teams have struggled this evening with turnovers and just basic getting the snap off, blocking assignments, little things like that have really killed both teams in this ballgame. Not much to speak of stat-wise. Eastlake with 143 total yards of offense in the first half. Sebastian Rendon, 3 of 8 passing 31 yards. Remember, in the opening week, he had 5. He threw for 5 touchdowns, has thrown for 2 interceptions in the first half. And what it seems like after that second interception, Elijah Uribe took over at quarterback and led the drive down the field. Actually completed, as he's 2 of 3 passing for 24 yards. So he drove Eastlake down on that last drive to end the half. So that's going to be an interesting storyline to watch down the rest of the second half. What Eastlake does at quarterback. For Americas, it's been just a complete struggle fest on offense. They only have 1 single first down. 3 different players have thrown passes in this game. Jacob Caravallo, who started this game, is 1 of 4 passing for -2 yards. He's also thrown 2 interceptions. At one point, for about a good 8 to 10 minute stretch in the second quarter, America's only had -2 rushing yards. They have 17 yards of total offense on 19 plays so far in the first half. So major adjustments for the Blazers are on deck. As for Eastlake, the execution, that's probably something Coach Rodriguez is hammering home here hammering home to improve in the second half. It's just better execution from the Eastlake Falcons. So still here at halftime, 10 minutes left here until the start of the second half in the District 1 6A opener between Americas and Eastlake. And it's Eastlake leading Americas 3-0.
Terrific halftime report. And, of course, you heard the only points in this one coming off the foot of the field goal kicker, Julian Malucci, and he might be the X factor in District 1-6A if there's a better kicker in the city. Haven't seen him yet. Remember this, the guy is a freshman who walked out onto the field and knocked in, I think it was a 45-yarder on the final snap. Beau Bagley, you were actually at this contest. Eastwood and Eastlake, 45 yards at the buzzer, and that was the difference in that district. Eastlake was the Super 5A champs. Eastwood was the runner-up because Julian Malucci was on their team.
You're right, Malucci with the game winner at the sack 2 years ago. So he's been kicking field goals for quite some time. A powerful leg and a good weapon to have on your team. But head coach Ruben Ramirez looking for some more offense, not just field goals in this one in District 1-6A opener. They need some touchdowns. Just 3-0 Eastlake over Americas at halftime at the sack. Thank you very much, Alex. Appreciate that update. We'll get back to you for the second half. Let's join the coach, Jaime Chavez, for an exciting game. We got an update from Parkland's Matador Stadium hosting Del Valle. Coach, take it away.
Halftime in Northeast El Paso. It's Del Valle 21, Parkland nothing. And here's a Del Valle scoring. Quarterback Jesse Ramos, a 15-yard touchdown pass to Christian Martinez. The extra point is good by Isaac Williams. And then Ramos had a 5-yard touchdown run, that extra point good. Brandon Tejas, the wide receiver for Del Valle, adds a 12-yard touchdown run for the Conquistadores. And the Del Valle defense, they're pitching a shutout tonight. They've held Parkland star running back Isaiah Beasley to 9 carries and 27 yards rushing. And by the way, Beasley was stopped on a 4th and goal at the 1 just before the half. Beasley is closing in on 500 yards rushing this season. Quarterback Jesse Ramos for Del Valle, he's 11 of 14, 107 yards, 1 touchdown. He's got 7 carries, 26 yards on the ground, and 1 rushing TD. So we've got about 10 minutes left here in the halftime festivities at Matador Stadium. It's all Del Valle. Del Valle 21, Parkland nothing.
All right, Coach, thank you very much. Wow, 21-0 at the half. Del Valle looking strong today against the Parkland Matadors at Matador Stadium. At last check, it was all El Dorado over Isleta. Let's tune in to Joey Panisi for an update at Hutchins Stadium. Joey, take it away.
Yes, from Isleta High School, Hutchins Stadium. You're right, it's been all El Dorado. They lead the Indians by a score of 31-0. And you know, they say statistics tell it all. Let me just give you a few. First half stats for El Dorado. Quincy Estrada, 2 carries, 38 yards, 2 touchdowns. And I praised Coach Martinez from El Dorado because he changed his game plan. Ricardo Portillo was the starting quarterback. He was 4 passes complete, 71 yards and a touchdown strike. But Isleta started keying on him and hurrying him. So we immediately put Quincy Estrada in, and then Isaiah Redison, I'm calling him the Bo Jackson of El Paso. He's amassed 162 yards on 18 carries. I haven't done the math. I think that's like 9 yards per carry. He has a touchdown. He's had 2 called back. That's what's killed El Dorado to this point. They've had 6 major penalties that have cost them points. They need to shore that up. Quincy Estrada, 7 rushes for 75 yards, 2 touchdowns. Devin Rubio, 2 catches, a touchdown. And I got to give credit to the little guy, Noah Moreno. He's about 5'5". He's the kicker. He's got 7 points tonight, 6 for 6 point afters. And he's got 9 points and a field goal. So you got to give it to that little guy. And Damian Contreras, one of the highest touted quarterbacks in Isleta history. He's got a 106.7 quarterback rating, accounted for 15 TDs tonight. He's been rushed and hurried, and you can see the frustration on his face. He's completed 6 passes and 13 tries for 87 yards. Early in the game, he completed a 47-yard jailbreak to DeAndre Jackson, got him down to the 30, but that's as far as they went. Total yards for Isleta, 155. 2 first downs only, and only 4:49 time of possession. Compare that to El Dorado, total yards 326, 9 first downs, and ball control of 19-11. So, at halftime, the score is the El Dorado Aztecs 31, the Isleta Indians 0.
All right, Joey, thank you very much. Wow, all El Dorado in that one as they're looking for their second victory of the year. Boy, it was all Horizon in the first half at Highlander Stadium. Horizon and Bel Air. Let's head out to Joe Rodriguez for this halftime update. Joe.
Yes, we're here at halftime homecoming out at Highlander Stadium where the Horizon Scorpions, the visiting team, is dominating the home team, the Bel Air Highlanders, by the score of 40-14. Got some halftime stats for you coming up here. Horizon Scorpions had 12 first downs. They rushed the ball 27 times for 168 yards. A majority of those carries were divided between Ernie Garcia, Jesus Santana, and, of course, the quarterback Jacob Quijas. Speaking of quarterback Jacob Quijas, he's 7 for 12 for 99 yards and has 3 touchdown passes here in the first half, for a total of 267 offensive yards. The Horizon Scorpions do have 3 penalties for 30 yards. Over on the Bel Air side of things, they have they scored 14 points. They have 10 first downs. They carried the ball 18 times for 96 yards. Quarterback Noah Moreno threw the ball, had 11 attempts. He had 7 completions for 126 yards for a grand total of 222 yards. It's going to be interesting to see what Coach Eric Scoggin can do here in the second half to make it a game here for the Bel Air Highlanders on homecoming night. We're going to go ahead and send it back to you on the studios. We're, like I said, a homecoming, so it's an extended homecoming program. We're about a little less than 12 minutes away from kickoff of the second half. But for right now, it is all Horizon leading Bel Air by the score of 40-14.
All right, Joe, thank you very much. Yeah, we could tell that the band was hitting the field. We heard the public address announcer right behind you. They're having some fun out there, the big red band of Highlander Land. So thank you very much, Joe. 40-14, Horizon over Bel Air. We have a final out in Fabens. La Mesa tops Fabens 13-12, by a point. Their Tornadoes top the Wildcats, dropping Fabens to 1-4 overall. La Mesa improves to 3-2.
Yeah, I was going to say, you might want to assume we talked about earlier. Wow, what a roll of the dice from Pebble Hills last night, scoring a touchdown with 30 seconds left, down a point, going for 2. Well, I think we're looking at the flip side of it here. Fabens down 13-6, score a touchdown late, 13-12. Likely, let's roll the dice and go for 2 and go home with another L by your name.
It's tough for the Fabens Wildcats as they drop a 1-point game to La Mesa Tornadoes. Let's head out to Brandon Cohn. Update as this one is all Canutillo over Mountain View. Brandon with the halftime update. Brandon, take it away.
Yeah, it's a nice halftime update for the Canutillo Eagles. They're celebrating homecoming here at Lowenberg Stadium, 43-0 over Mountain View. Canutillo running back L.J. Barton, what an unbelievable first half on 8 carries, 106 yards, 3 touchdowns, including 3 receptions for 34 yards. Quarterback Devin Granado, 7 of 10, 55 yards, 4 rushes, 27 yards, including 2 rushing touchdowns. And wideout Lorenzo Ariola has a 65-yard punt return for a touchdown. Also the defense with that safety late in the first half. And, I was going to mention this. Paul had said not so fast. It's funny, at the 2:56 mark, I should probably note that, Mountain View, after that safety, they figured, okay, we're out of the woods, no more scoring by Martin. And all of a sudden, Martin said, not so fast, as he decides to be a man amongst boys and score his third touchdown of that first half on a 15-yard pitch from Granado. So the guy just is scoring at will. They have nothing really to stop, L.J. Martin, and that's why he has 5 Division I offers already. For Mountain View, not much going on there. Running back Alejandro Lerma does have 11 carries for 12 yards, and quarterback Junior Saucedo, 4 of 10, 33 yards, and an interception. A little more than 10 minutes and change here at the half at Lowenberg Stadium. All Canyon 43-0 over Mountain View.
Brando caught me stealing his shtick. Busted.
Hey, we have some updates from our Cisco Movers game of the week. The Franklin Cougars punching in over the Montwood Rams. Franklin now leads that 28-21. We'll head out to Steve Escajeda in just a moment. First, this was all Lubbock Cooper over Hanks at Excalibur Stadium. This game should be at halftime. Let's head out to Isaiah Ramirez with an update from Lubbock Cooper and Hanks. Isaiah.
It is definitely halftime out here at Excalibur Stadium, and it's going to be for quite some time. We have the great band of the Hanks Knights performing here on the field with Lubbock Cooper leading the Hanks Knights 41-7. Starting off, I was a little bit shocked. It bolted out to a 10-7 lead for the Pirates. The Hanks Knights are definitely hanging on there, but since then it has just been completely one-sided. All Lubbock Cooper with Bryce LeBlanc, who took his first snap as a varsity football player last week, with Hope Gibson, as I alluded to earlier, the HCU, Abilene Christian University baseball commit going down. He is now 7 for 10, 72 passing yards on the night, stepped in quite well. Very great prototypical quarterback that you would need to do some damage out here in the field. For running back, Caden Chambers, he's having a great night as well. 2 rushing touchdowns for 8 carries and 72 yards. As far as the defense goes, we have a standout player in Kobe McKenzie, Oklahoma University commit, 4-star as well, 5 tackles and a pick six tonight. For the Knights, it has been quiet for their star running back Xavier Johnson, who earlier had a 46-yard run. Since then, he's only accumulated 12 yards on the ground. He has 9 carries, 58 yards for the night. Coming into the night, he has rushed for 500 yards and 6 rushing touchdowns. As far as who's under center for the Knights, it was been Luis Perez, but he has been rotated with sophomore quarterback Marcus Porras. Ever since he threw an interception early in the second quarter, it seems like the coach decided just to switch it up. No success so far for Porras, 3 for 7 for 23 yards and an interception as well. Hanks allowing 109 points in 6 quarters after that drubbing last week against Burgess, 68-6 loss. When they're allowing that many points, definitely need to shape up as far as defense goes. For Lubbock Cooper Pirates, number 5 team ranked in the state, they have definitely shown that tonight. Once again, on homecoming night, it is Lubbock Cooper leading the Hanks Knights 41-7.
All right, Isaiah, thank you very much. 41-7, Lubbock Cooper over Hanks at Excalibur Stadium. For an update on Socorro and Coronado, that game was half 7-0. Let's go out to J.D. Sursley. J.D.
Yeah, we're 40 seconds to start the second half. Still 7-0, obviously. The T-Bird faithful are probably wondering with the quarterback switch earlier. Well, we do have unfortunate news. Tristan Escobedo was not one of them. He actually has a torn MCL, ACL, meniscus. The trifecta, unfortunate for him and his family. Looks like he's got a good full recovery. But yeah, still 7-0 at halftime.
Okay, JD, thank you very much. Appreciate that report out at Thunderbird Stadium. Coronado still topping Socorro. This just underway in the second half.
And, of course, the big reason Coronado has struggled the way they have. We've talked about good quarterback play. Coronado's not getting a lot of it. Nothing against the sophomore Blake Randag, the quarterback who will become. But just a little too young. Escobedo returning starter. He was going to be the keystone of that T-Bird offense, and doesn't even wind up taking a snap this year, and that's why they're in the mess that they're in. Good for them, up 7-0 going to the third quarter. But I tell you what, crazy. I know it's not time for the out-of-town scoreboard, Beau, but
okay, what do you got?
District 26A is crazy. We already talked about Midland 42-14, they lead Odessa High, and again, we reiterate, same Odessa High that almost beat Wichita Falls Ryder last year. Ryder's the team. It's Ryder and Lubbock Cooper, the team that's currently knocking Hanks Knights around on their homecoming night. It's always those two in the regional final to go to the Final Four. Last year, Wichita Falls Ryder won it. The year before, it was Lubbock Cooper, and the year before that, I think it might have been Ryder. It's always those two teams. And that's who Odessa almost beat a week ago. And now Midland is just drubbing them 42-14.
Oh, my God.
And it must be something in the water with District 2-6A. But how about this one? Abilene High at 2-2. Guess where they went tonight? They went down to Ratliff to meet a certain team from a certain town called the Odessa Permian Panthers, and currently sit with a 42-21 lead in Odessa. Ooh. They better jump on the buses and floor it, because I think the entire town might come after them. And oh, by the way, one more, a mini upset, I guess. Friendship 3-1 coming into the contest, 42-32. They lead San Angelo Central, and of course these all district openers for the 2-6A crowd. So Permian is going to start the season off. Looks like with an L. That's a fourth quarter score. That's going to be tough to take, as our old buddy Steve Hill would say. They're loading up the moving vans, coming to the coach's house.
Mojo might not let Abilene leave with their tires on their bus. They're going to run them right out of town after this game.
No Mojo, more like it.
Hey, we're going to head out to our Cisco Movers Game of the Week in just a moment. First, let's bring in Adrian Brunis with an update, a 5A update around town. Adrian.
We've got Andrus leading Bowie at the half, 26-16. That's the one update I've got. Bowie was down, actually had the lead in this one, and then Andrus just comes from behind. They're leading them now 26-16. It's the half.
All right, Adrian, thank you very much. We have some finals around town in 4A. La Mesa tops Fabens 13-12 in a battle of unbeatens. Monahans tops Riverside 35-21. Now, Monahans led that game 28-7 in the third quarter. Riverside tried to mount a little comeback, but too little too late. Monahans hands Riverside their first loss of the season, 35-21.
And Riverside, again, remember, most likely without their top threat, the running back, Jose Guardado. That's why Angel Munoz, the quarterback, not our producer, the quarterback of Riverside, had such a huge game a week ago, went for close to a couple of, I think, 160 and a bunch of touchdowns without Guardado, and likely they went in tonight's contest without him as well. So, it's a loss, but, you stayed in the fight.
And this game just went to halftime. Our Cisco Movers Game of the Week between the Montwood Rams and Franklin Cougars. Let's get a halftime update from Steve Escajeda at Cougar Stadium. Steve.
Thanks a lot, guys. It is halftime here on the west side, and Franklin is leading Montwood now 28-21. This game was tied 21-all. And then Franklin's quarterback, Cameron Bird, hitting Franco Hernandez with a 28-yard touchdown pass with 13 seconds left to go in the quarter to put Franklin up by 7 here at halftime. Again, this game started a little bit slowly. Midway through the first quarter, toward the end, again, it started picking up, and things got really wild in the second quarter. And again, 28-21, the West Siders on top. Individually at halftime, first of all, for Montwood, they're led on the ground by Isaiah Claudio, 11 carries, 38 yards and a touchdown. Quarterback Kevin Melendez, 7 out of 13 through the air for 93 yards. He's got a touchdown pass, an interception, and he also has a touchdown run as well. His leading receiver, Yamil Oaxaca, 3 carries, 73 yards, and a touchdown. For the Franklin Cougars, they're led on the ground by Miles McWhorter, 9 carries, 47 yards, and a touchdown. Quarterback Cameron Bird, not a bad first half, 10 out of 16 through the air, 181 yards, 2 touchdown passes. And, a big night by Bo Sparks, 5 catches, 122 yards, and a score. Team-wise, Franklin, 65 yards on the ground, 181 through the air, 246 total yards for the Cougars. Montwood, 86 on the ground, 93 through the air, 179 yards total for Montwood. And the biggest stat of the first half has got to be turnovers. Montwood had 2, Franklin had none. And one of those turnovers was returned, 5-yard touchdown interception return for Franklin, which right now was the difference in the ball game.
So we're here at halftime. A happy homecoming halftime for the Franklin Cougars. They lead Montwood here on the west side, 28-21.
An exciting Cisco Movers game of the week. Steve, thank you very much. All of our games at halftime are creeping into the third quarter. We'll have a score update next. You're listening to Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso.
You're listening to Football Friday Night on 600 ESPN El Paso. Let's go back to Beau Bagley and Paul MacKinnon.
Welcome back to Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso and our Cisco Movers Game of the Week. Cisco Movers can help with packing, boxing, heavy lifting, and moving your belongings to your next destination. They also offer storage at their facility. Take it from a family-owned company like Cisco Movers. They'll give you a great price and help you on your next big move. Get started by filling out a request form at CiscoMovers.com. Cisco Movers, the best move you'll make in El Paso. In our Cisco Movers Game of the Week, the Franklin Cougars lead the Montwood Rams at halftime 28-21. Now, all these games either at halftime or creeping into the third quarter. Let's go quickly down our scoreboard. At the half, Eastlake leads Americus 3-0. Also at halftime, Del Valle leads Parkland 21-0. Also at the half, El Dorado over Isleta 31-0. Horizon over Bel Air 40-14. Canutillo all over Mountain View. I should say LJ Martin all over Mountain View. 43-0. Canutillo leads Mountain View at halftime. Also at half, 41-7. Lubbock Cooper over Hanks. And at the half, creeping into the third quarter, Coronado leads Socorro 7-0.
We just went over some of the out-of-town scores. Let's just hit back on them. Of course, the big upset. Abilene 42-21 over Permian. That's fourth quarter. Friendship 42-32 over Central. Midland High, wow, another strange one. Crazy night in 2-6A. Midland 42-14. They lead Odessa. That one almost done. Elsewhere, this one is done. Lubbock Monterey, all over their brothers from Lubbock. Lubbock High, 62-7. Yeah, a little spite there, looks like. Amarillo over Caprock, 27-3. That's more how you treat your in-city rival. 47-6 in a Thursday nighter. Tascosa moves to 4-1, beating Palo Duro, hanging their first L on them. Randall all over Dumas, 24-7. Thursday nighter. Andrews gets past Lubbock Estacado in a battle of top teams, 14-7. And Fort Stockton, this one's in the books, all over Pecos, 42-0. Stockton moves to 4-1. Pecos falls to 3-2. And Beau Bagley, that's your out-of-town scoreboard.
Out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by Longhorn Distributing, the only hot seat dealer in West Texas and southern New Mexico. Your source for cleaning equipment, service, and supplies, Longhorn Distributing, 5516 East Paisano Drive in El Paso. Other scores from around the area. At halftime, Andress leads Bowie 26-16. Now, Bowie led that game 16-12, but Andress with 14 unanswered points to lead at halftime, 26-16. In the third quarter, the El Paso High Tigers looking for their first victory of the season. They lead the Irvin Rockets 19-13. Elsewhere, Cathedral leads San Elizario 21-6 in the third quarter. Santa Teresa over Ruidoso, a battle of two good teams this season. Santa Teresa leads Ruidoso 24-14. Also, a final in Fabens. La Mesa tops Fabens 13-12. Clint and Big Spring in Big Spring. Well, Big Spring leads this one 42-16 now. This was just a 4-point game, but Big Spring with 22 unanswered points. They lead Clint 42-16. At last check, Mayfield and Roswell were tied at 14. And Gadsden all over the Hot Springs Tigers from Truth or Consequences, 35-0 in the second half. And we'll have much more from Football Friday Night as we get into the second half and live reports from all over El Paso from our reporters. You're listening to Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso.
Scott, on their second possession of the second half, they went 51 yards in 8 plays. A 3-yard touchdown run by quarterback Noah Moreno. The extra point was good to bring us where we're at right now. And where we're at is Horizon has the ball at their own 9-yard line, and it is 3rd and 32. So possibly here the Bel Air Highlanders are going to get the ball back with 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. We're going to go ahead and send it back to you to the studio. It is Horizon leading Bel Air by the score of 40-41.
40-21, Horizon over Bel Air. Joe, thank you very much. Let's head out to Canutillo's Lowenberg Stadium. This one, all Eagles over the Mountain View Lobos. Let's pick it up with Iceman Brandon Cohn with an update. Brandon, take it away.
Here in the third quarter, all KNTU 50-0 over Mountain View at the 10:05 mark of the third. KNTU ends up going up 50-0 when Eagles running back Tony Ayala scores on an 8-yard touchdown run to make the score 50-0. They're also utilizing, besides Ayala, Lorenzo Ariola, who's a wide receiver and apparently a running back right now. He just had a nice 47-yard gain. And as I'm on the radio, it's a 34-yard touchdown by Ben Gutierrez. That's a nice score, 34 yards by Gutierrez. So they're using 3-4 different running backs now, KNTU, and it looks like L.J. Martin's going to just have a seat for the second half after 3 first-half touchdowns. 1:54 remaining, third quarter. All KNTU, barring the extra point, they're up 56-0 over Mountain View.
All right, Brandon, thank you very much. Looks like Canutillo is going to prove to 4-1. Hey, we finally got some offense at the sack. Let's go out to Alex Nicholas for an update on East Lake Americas. Alex.
3:34 left here in the third quarter, and we have a ball game. East Lake leading Americas 10-7. Let's take you back about 10 seconds ago. It would be an Americas punt. Isaiah Chavez would muff the punt, and right Johnny on the spot, Thomas Silva would recover at the East Lake 30-yard line. Very next play, Caesar Drennan takes a hand up off tackle off the left side, goes untouched 30 yards for the touchdown. He has 9 carries for 66 yards in this ball game, and that's his third rushing touchdown of the season. 3:27 left in the third quarter, and East Lake starts their next drive deep in their own territory, but it's East Lake 10, America 7.
All right, Alex, thank you very much. Congratulations on your first touchdown of the night, too. Offensive touchdown, I should say. Right. So nice job, Alex. 10-7, East Lake over Americas right now. Hey, let's head back out to Lubbock Cooper and Hanks over Excalibur Stadium. Isaiah Ramirez with the update on this one. Isaiah, take it away.
With 6 minutes and 29 seconds remaining in the third quarter, it is Lubbock Cooper 48, Hanks 7. The Lubbock Cooper Pirates just scored off of a 4-yard rushing touchdown by running back Brandon Laws. Just on that drive alone, he went 7 carries for 42 yards. For the Knights for the night as well, they're going with quarterback Tyler Sproul as of right now. He's been rotating with the sophomore quarterback Bryson LeBronc. For the Knights, Sproul is 4 for 6 for 42 yards. On that last drive, it is the Pirates' third rushing touchdown of the night. For the Knights, they have been held scoreless since the end of the first quarter. Once again, with 6 minutes and 29 seconds remaining now in the third quarter on homecoming night at Excalibur Stadium, it is Lubbock Cooper 48, Hanks 7.
All right, Isaiah, thank you very much. Hey, we got some more offense out at Thunderbird Stadium, too. We got offense everywhere. Let's head out to J.D. Sursley, who's catching the action between Socorro and Coronado from T-Bird Stadium. J.D., take it away.
Yeah, 9:50 left in the fourth quarter. Mr. Cade Little with a 5-yard touchdown run. It was a beauty. He's actually their leading receiver also at 47 yards. It's pretty much all defense, so it's Coronado and Socorro.
All right, 14-0 Coronado and Socorro over at T-Bird Stadium. JD, thank you very much. An exciting game there. Looks like the Coronado T-Birds have finally found the end zone twice now. Lead Socorro Bulldogs 14-0.
And one a little less exciting, Ben Gutierrez 34-yard touchdown run. Canutillo now 57-0 all over in that one.
57. All right, thank you very much, Paul. Hey, we have an update from Bowie's Beatty Semang Stadium and El Paso High's Jones Stadium. Let's catch up with Adrian Broadus. Adrian.
Still at the half right now. Andrews still leading Bowie 26-16, but we do have an update with the Irvin El Paso score. So Irvin ties the game up 19-19 with El Paso. Now the Tigers go ahead in the fourth quarter. 27-19 is the score. El Paso leading the Irvin Rockets.
Look at that. The El Paso Tigers looking for their first victory of the season. Looking good in the second half. Remember, tied at 13 at halftime. 2 touchdowns for the El Paso High Tigers over the Irvin Rockets in the second half.
Versus the District 2-5A Tri-Champs from a year ago, Irvin Andrus Burgess.
It's interesting for the Irvin Rockets, see how they respond in the fourth quarter. Some time left there, down by 8 to the El Paso High Tigers. Let's head back out to our Cisco Movers game of the week between Maltwood and Franklin. Get an update from Steve Escajeda. Steve.
We've got 10:46 to go in the third quarter, just starting the second half after a long homecoming halftime. Franklin's still out in front of Maltwood, 28-21. Maltwood's taken the second half kickoff, and they've driven it up to their own 44-yard line, where they're looking at a 1st and 10 from there. Again, trying to get back into this one, needs to try to tie it up. As we said in the first half, the game was tied 21-all when Franklin quarterback Cameron Bird hit Franco Hernandez with a 28-yard touchdown pass with just 13 seconds left to go in that first half to put Franklin up by the one touchdown. And just a quick quarterback comparison so far in the ball game. Maltwood's Kevin Melendez, 7 out of 13, 93 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. He's also run the ball for 48 yards and a touchdown. Cameron Bird for Franklin, so far in the ball game, 10 out of 16, 181 yards, and a couple of touchdown passes. So we've just started the second half here. 9:45 to go in the third. Franklin, 28. Maltwood, 21.
And, Beau, it looks like El Dorado has somewhat stanched the bleeding after a couple of back-to-back Ysleta TDs in the third quarter. The quarterback, Quincy Estrada, another 2-yard touchdown run, his third of the night, gets the lead back up to 38-14. That with just 25 seconds left in the third quarter. So,
all right, Paul, thank you very much. We have some updates. We have also a couple finals from a 4A. Monahans tops Riverside in a battle of unbeatens, 35-21, and La Mesa tops Fabens by 1 point. The La Mesa Tornadoes defeat the Fabens Wildcats 13-12. An update from the land of enchantment. Mayfield and Roswell were tied at 14 at halftime, but second half has been all Roswell. They lead the Mayfield Trojans 29-14 entering the fourth quarter. An update from Gadsden. Gadsden leads Hot Springs from Truth or Consequences 35-6 in the fourth quarter. Santa Teresa up on Ruidoso in the fourth, 24-14. And Cathedral leads San Elizario in the third quarter, 21-6. We're going to have much more as we take a quick break. We'll have more from our reporters all around town. You're listening to Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. Welcome back to Week 5 of Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. A lot of games all around the city kind of shaking down. All coming to a close here in the fourth quarter. We'll have updates from all of our reporters. We do have a final from Big Spring. Big Spring tops Clint 42-16. Clint falls to 2-3 overall. An update from Cathedral at Austin High School in San Eli. San Eli has cut into the Cathedral lead. It's now 21-14 in the fourth quarter. Cathedral over San Eli Eagles. We have updates from around town. Our Cisco Movers game of the week. Franklin leads Maltwood 28-21. This now just going into the fourth quarter. Eastlake leads Americus 10-7. We'll head back out to Alex Nicholas in just a second. Del Valle all over Parkland in the second half, 27-7. El Dorado and Ysleta, the Indians, kind of making a comeback in this one. El Dorado once led 31-0, but now Ysleta has cut in that lead. It's 31-14 in the second half. Horizon all over Bel Air, 40-21 in the second half. Meanwhile, Canutillo is having their way with Mountain View right now, 56-0 at last check in the second half. Hanks trailing Lubbock Cooper 48-7, and Coronado hold on to a slim lead, 14-0 over Socorro in the second half.
And it looks like Andrus out 33-16 now. They've lengthened that one a little bit. I'm sure Adrian Broadus will be telling us about that one soon enough.
And Irvin had tied the game at 19, but here comes the El Paso High Tigers over the Irvin Rockets, 27-19. That game in the fourth quarter.
Wow.
Wow is right. El Paso High still looking for the first win of the season.
It'd be the biggest win of Ray Aguilar's young El Paso High coaching career. Of course, he only took over last year during 2020, and nobody noticed it because it was COVID 2020, and nobody was at the game. Hey, who's that new guy coaching our team? Looks like the dude from San Eli.
And there we go. We have an update from the land of enchantment. Roswell all over Mayfield, 29-14. Roswell with 15 unanswered points in that one. Gadsden leads Hot Springs 35-6. Santa Teresa leads Ruidoso 24-14. And Cathedral leads Sanelli 21-14. That late in the game there.
And by the way, the out-of-towner 2-6A, Abilene Permian, that one's gone final. Abilene High beats Permian on their homecoming night, I hear. It gets worse. Here's the question. Worst homecoming, the Hanks Knights with the number 5 Lubbock Cooper coming in, or Odessa Permian taking a 42-21 beating at the hands of Abilene? I think that's an easy vote. That's Mojo all the way.
Mojo falling at home at homecoming at Ratliff Stadium.
Yikes.
The Mojo fans aren't going to be happy about that one. All right, now time to get an update from our Cisco Movers Game of the Week. Let's head out to Steve Escajeda with an update on Montwood and Franklin. Steve. Okay, we're going to head back out to Steve in just a moment. Now we're going to quick do a rundown here. Let's do an update of some of our sponsors here as we get Taco Avocat, our pregame, postgame meal, and our weekly Talk 10. Need a new spot to try? Experience Taco Avocat for a feel-good fast food. Family packs available for the big game, or stop by their drive-thru and grab Taco Avocat to go. Wear your school colors and receive 10% off at Taco Avocat. Dine in at 2114 North Zaragoza or order online at tacoavocat.com. And I got to tell you, we've had those a couple weeks ago, and those flautas are about as big as your head.
Maybe as big as your head, Beau Bagley.
Pretty good, too, but they're fantastic. And don't forget our post-game get-together over at Union Draft House on Sunland Park. This football season, and for all your sports watching, visit the Union Draft House. 3 locations in town: west at Cimarron Plaza, east on Tierra Este, and now open off Sunland Park near the Sunland Park Mall. 100 beers on tap, feast on the food, stay for the big game. Learn more on Facebook and Instagram at the Union Draft House.
And I think that Steve Escajeda is probably too busy watching the game. He's got too good of a game. He's not paying attention to us, doing his job. 28-21 going into the fourth quarter. And then there's that Eastlake game as well, 10-7. You know, there's a lot of blowouts tonight, Beau, but we're going to have 2 good ones down the stretch, and I think we're going to have a couple of fantastic finishes.
And to open up district play in District 1-6A, 2 great games going down to the wire. Remember, we had one last night between Eastwood and Pebble Hills.
29-28, Pebble Hills.
Pebble Hills, a 1-point victory over shocking the Eastwood Troopers. Let's now head out to Cougar Stadium and join Steve Escajeda with an update on Montwood and Franklin. Steve, take it away.
We've got 7:24 to go in the third quarter, and Franklin has now extended that lead to 35-21. Montwood had the ball first to open the second half. Quarterback for the Montwood Rams, Kevin Melendez, back to pass. His toss was intercepted by Franklin's Hector Fazio, who returned it to the 35-yard line. About 5 plays later, it was Miles McCorder running it in from 5 yards out to give Franklin that 2-touchdown lead, 35-21. Now Montwood has the ball on their own 34-yard line. They're looking at a second and long from there. And, in fact, Franklin's just called a timeout. So far in the ball game, McWhorter, that was his second touchdown, 10 carries, 52 yards on the night. And Cameron Bird, the quarterback for Franklin, 11 out of 17 through the air, 224 yards, and a couple of touchdown passes. And also having an exceptional ball game, Bo Sparks for Franklin. 6 catches on the night, 165 yards, and a touchdown. As we say, Montwood has the ball now on their own 34-yard line. See if they can keep this drive going. We've got 7:16 to go in the third. Franklin on top of Montwood, 35-21.
All right, Steve, thank you very much. Sounds like Miles McWhorter, the interim head coach, Lee McWhorter's son, coming through big. Now that Darren Walker is back, he knows who to go to now. I think, Lee McWhorter was an assistant with Darren Walker over at Chapin, then at Franklin, left for a couple years, now back with Franklin, and he knows that Miles McWhorter can play as a running back.
Yeah, the only sad part for me is I can't call him the coach's kid anymore. The coach's kid, Miles McWhorter, that's my go-to phrase. By the way, I don't think there's any happier person on the planet that Darren Walker is back in charge of the Franklin Cougars than Lee McWhorter. talk about a guy at a disadvantage. I believe he's. I don't think he has a position on campus at Franklin High, which means he's coming from a middle school or an elementary, and those guys have full schedules. I mean, they work from 7:30 or whatever. So compare the head coach and El Paso head coach. The rest of them, they're athletic directors, which means they're not teaching any classes. I mean, I'm sure they're working. They have things to do, but they're not in the classroom, except for Lee McWhorter, who's spending 7 or 8 hours with people who aren't even teenagers yet, likely, or young teenagers, and that's probably even worse. And then he has to schlep himself over to Franklin and conduct football practice. That guy is working a lot harder. When they say the hardest working man in show business, the hardest working coach in the El Paso coaching industry this first month of the season has got to be Lee McWhorter. And as I said, overjoyed that Darren Walker's back in charge.
And it looks like it's making it count for the Franklin Cougars right now. 14 unanswered points for the Cougars as they lead the Montwood Rams 35-21. An exciting one at the sack between Eastlake and Americus. At last check, it was just a 3-point game. Let's head out to Alex Nicholas for an update. Alex, take it away.
8:52 and running here in the fourth quarter. It's Eastlake 17, Americus 7. The last Eastlake score was a very long drive. It was a 12-play, 89-yard drive. In actuality, they drove 95 yards plus a penalty. But Eli Uribe has taken over at quarterback. He threw a 4-yard touchdown pass to Anakin Atilano. That would be at the 10:21 mark of the fourth quarter. Right now, Uribe, 5 of 8 passing, 83 yards and a touchdown. He also has ran very hard this evening, 21 carries, 71 yards. America's threatening right now inside the 10-yard line as Mark Moore with a short gain gets it inside the 5. So second down and goal coming up from Americas at the Eastlake 5-yard line. 8:30 and running here in the fourth quarter, and Eastlake leading Americas 17-7.
Wow, so America's they're right in this thing. 17-7, punch, counterpunch. Long 95 with penalties, Alex said, drive. And then Americas gets the ball. This is a team that struggled for a month. And here they are going against allegedly and apparently top team in 6A, at least early in the season. And they're not given anything. They're fighting the good fight inside the 5-yard line, looking to close back within a field goal.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Alex. We'll get back to you here pretty soon. Let's head out to Jaime Chavez and Parkland's Matador Stadium for an update between Del Valle and Parkland. Coach.
7:07 left in the fourth quarter. It is still Del Valle 27 and Parkland 7. Del Valle quarterback Jesse Ramos, 2 touchdown passes, a 25-yard touchdown pass to Eli Molina, and a 15-yard touchdown pass to Christian Martinez. And Ramos also has a 5-yard touchdown run. Ramos is 15 of 22, 170 yards passing, and the 2 touchdowns. He's got 12 carries and 53 yards rushing. And the lone touchdown for Parkland tonight, quarterback Eric Ortiz, a 5-yard touchdown run. So we have 7:07 left in the fourth quarter at Matador Stadium. It's Del Valle 27 and Parkland 7.
All right, Coach, thank you very much. Wow, no change there from late in the third quarter, so still a slugfest there between Del Valle and Parkland. An exciting game between El Dorado and Isleta now. Can Isleta cut back into that El Dorado lead? Let's head out to Joey Panisi and get an update from El Dorado Aztecs and Isleta Indians. Joey.
Oh, brother, you just got me just in time. Isaiah Gerardo from Isleta just ran 60 yards for a touchdown on a completion from Damian Contreras. How exciting was that? Isleta scored 2 quick touchdowns in the third quarter, and then due to a fake punt, they got sacked back on the 5. Quincy Estrada took it in from 2 yards for El Dorado. Let me give you the score right now. Almost forgot. It's 52 for El Dorado, 20 for Isleta. I get so excited I forgot to tell you. So Isleta's out back for the extra point. El Dorado's last touchdown came from a pass from Ricardo Portillo. It was 34 yards. Caleb Gutierrez, a big 6-footer, 227-pound tight end, faked the block, and he ran all by himself into the end zone. So that capped the scoring. Now, Isleta just missed the extra point. So from Isleta, with 7:39 left in the fourth quarter, it's El Dorado 52, Isleta 21.
Joe Rodriguez.
There we go. There we go, Angel. It's all good. We're having some fun here at Football Friday Night, 600 ESPN El Paso. Got to get the microphones on. All right, 52-20, El Dorado over Isleta, that one in the fourth quarter.
I was just going to say, Alex, Nicolas's game, of course, down close. They're going to have to settle for a field goal. Were the America's Trailblazers, but on the field goal attempt, kicker roughed. Personal foul, automatic first down. America's first and goal inside the 5-yard line. So they are driving to get back within 17-14.
We'll head out to Alex in just a moment. Let's head out to Bel Air's Highlander Stadium, get an update on Horizon and Bel Air from Joe Rodriguez. Joe, take it away.
7:46 left in the ball game, and it is all Horizon leading Bel Air by the score of 56-21. The last two possessions for the Horizon Scorpions have led to 2 touchdowns. 39-yard touchdown pass from Jacob Quijas to to Angel Martinez. And the 2-point conversion was good. And then from there, on the ensuing possession for the Horizon Scorpions, they went 75 yards in 9 plays with a touchdown run by Jesus Santana from 3 yards out. It is important to point out Quijas tonight has 4 touchdown passes and having an excellent night. Bel Air trying to put some more points on the board and keep this respectable. But for now, it is all Horizon with 7:40 left in the ball game. It is Horizon leading Bel Air by the score of 56-21.
All right, Joe, thank you very much. Appreciate that call. We have some exciting action going on at Franklin's Cougar Stadium. Let's head out to our Cisco Movers Game of the Week and join Steve Escajeda with an update on Montwood and Franklin. Steve.
We've got 5:24 to go in the third quarter, and Montwood has cut the lead now to 35-28 as Kevin Melendez just hit Yamil Oaxaca with a 14-yard touchdown pass. Again, that cuts it down to a 1-score game, 35-28. Wouldn't you know that Franklin has just come back on a 75-yard run by quarterback Cameron Bird, puts them at a 1st and 10 at the Montwood 17-yard line. So, again, the Montwood can't even enjoy that lead for more than about 10 seconds as Franklin is attacking threatening right again. They're looking at a 2nd down and 8 from the 15-yard line. So 4:46 to go in the third. It is Franklin 35, Montwood 28.
All right, Steve, thank you very much. Exciting game out there between Montwood and Franklin. We have an update from Adrian Broadus on some games, more games around the city of El Paso. Adrian.
3:50. Thank you. 3:50 in the fourth. Actually, Irvin 27, El Paso High 27. Tie game. What a game that one is right now. Late in this one. Again, 3:50 left in the fourth. We got a tie game. Irvin 27, El Paso High 27. Right back to you guys.
Fun times out at R.R. Jones Stadium, El Paso and Irvin. What a great way to start the season. One of just 3 really exciting games you just heard from Steve Escajeda. The Franklin game's a close one. And last we heard from Alex Nicolas. It was, 17-7, but America's with a 1st and goal from inside the 5-yard line. That one's got to be about to manifest itself.
And let's head out to Alex Nicolas at the sack right now for an update on Eastlake Americas. Alex, take it away.
6:32 left in the fourth quarter, and Americas was able to cash in on that huge Eastlake mistake. Like Paul mentioned, was a roughing the kicker. It was actually a 27-yard field goal, so half a distance to the goal. 3-play, 8-yard drive, a 1-yard touchdown keeper on the quarterback sneak from Jacob Caraballo, making up for his 3 turnovers. It'd be an interesting extra point. It'd be a penalty on Americas. So it was about a 30-yard extra point that was made by Paul Rodriguez, who was roughed on that field goal attempt just a few minutes earlier. So 6:32 left here in the fourth quarter. Eastlake holding on to a 17-14 lead over Americas.
Exciting game there between Eastlake and Americas. Alex, thank you very much. We'll head back out to you in just a little bit. An exciting game between Montwood and Franklin, our Cisco Movers Game of the Week. We're going to join Steve Escajeda in just a little bit. Want to remind you of the score. It's 35-28 Franklin over Montwood. Let's head out to Brandon Cohn at Lowenberg Stadium and join the Iceman for an update on Canutillo and Mountain View. Brandon.
We have a final on homecoming evening. Canutillo 57-0 over Mountain View. The Eagles moved to 4-1. on the year. Next, they'll be at Bel Air on the 1st of October. Quarterback Devin Granados, 7 of 10, 55 yards, also had 6 carries, 39 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. Running back L.J. Martin, what a first half, and this is only in the first half, 8 carries, 106 yards, 3 touchdowns. Running back Lorenzo Ariola had 3 carries, 75 yards, including a 65-yard punt return for a touchdown. And running back Tony Ayala, 7 carries, 57 yards, 1 touchdown. Mountain View moves to 3-2 on the year with the loss. They will host Pecos on the 1st of October. Not much for them at all. Quarterback Junior Saucedo, 9 of 18, 23 yards, 2 interceptions. Did have 5 carries for 53 yards, though. And their running back, Alejandro Lerma, 15 carries for 27 yards. Canyon Tio, one of the top teams in the city again, 4-1 on the season. They win this one, 57-0 over Mountain View.
All right, Brandon, thank you very much. Great job out there. What a game by the Canutillo Eagles, soaring past the Mountain View Lobos once again, as Brandon said, improving to 4-1 on this season. Brandon, we'll see you at our post-game get-together at Union Draft House on Sunland Park this football season. And for all your sports watching, visit the Union Draft House. 3 locations in town: west at Cimarron Plaza, east on Tierra Este, and now open off Sunland Park Drive near the Sunland Park Mall. 100 beers on tap, feast on the food, and stay for the big game. Learn more on Facebook and Instagram at the Union Draft House. We have another final over at T-Bird Stadium for the wrap-up. Let's head out to J.D. Sursley for the wrap on Socorro and Coronado.
Yeah, Cade Little and Ricky Lazoya were the 2 touchdowns, ended up 14-0. A bunch of penalties this game, holding, out of bounds hits, personal fouls against Socorro. Very, very poorly coached, I guess. Socorro definitely beat themselves for sure. Became a defensive struggle, or offensive struggle, defensive game, and then 14-0 ended up Coronado getting their first victory.
All right, JD, thank you very much. Coronado winning it 14-0, their first victory of the season. Coronado, next up, will play at Montwood, 4 p.m. next Friday. That'll be a tough one for the T-Birds. While Socorro drops to 1-3 overall, Socorro will play Thursday night. They will host Americus, 4 p.m. at the SAC. JD, thank you so much. We'll see you at a post-game get-together at the Union Draft House on Sunland Park Drive. Okay, we'll have an update from our Cisco Movers Game of the Week. Let's join Steve Escajeda on Montwood and Franklin. Steve.
Back and forth we go, guys. 4:15 to go in the third quarter. Franklin just came back and scored again. Now they're up on Montwood 42-28 on a 1-yard touchdown run by Miles McWhorter. Again, that last drive was set up a 75-yard run by the quarterback, Cameron Bird, setting up the Cougars at the 16-yard line, and then McWhorter again kicking it in from 1 yard out. So far, Foreman, that's his third touchdown of the ball game. 12 carries, 66 yards, and again, it's just a big guy grounding it there right at the goal line. So, again, 4:05 to go in the third. I got a feeling we're going to have a lot more scoring before this night is over. It is Franklin on top of Montwood, 42-28.
All right, Steve, thank you very much. I think earlier on Sports Talk, you jinxed yourself when you said homecoming, a long halftime, lots of scoring. There you go. We'll see you maybe 11:30 midnight over at Union Draft House. But this is going to be a fun one. Thank you, Steve. Montwood and Franklin going to be a fun one. 42-28 there in the third quarter. Hey, for an update on the 5A games in El Paso, let's head out to Adrian Broadus with an update. Adrian.
End of regulation out at R.R. Jones Stadium. Get ready for this. Headed to overtime. El Paso 27, Irvin 27. It's overtime, baby.
Oh, gotta love overtime. The El Paso High Tigers looking for their first win of the season, while Irvin 2-2. Boy, a big game, big overtime.
And let me just say for the record, I tried to send Isaiah Ramirez to this ball game.
What happened?
Hanks at Lubbock Cooper happened. You know, when the number 5 team in the state is coming to your city, I guess you got to go give them a look. But gosh, what a better game out at R.R. Jones.
Exciting game. Well, of course, we'll keep you updated on this game. Thank you very much, Adrian. Let's get an update from Eastlake and Americus. An exciting game at the SAC, just a 3-point game in the fourth quarter. Let's get an update from Alex Nicholas. Alex.
4:15 left in the ball game. Eastlake 17, Americas 17-14. On the ensuing Eastlake possession, Elijah Uribe with a 34-yard run that would put Eastlake into plus territory. The very next play would run a 3-yard run to the left side, and we have 2 personal foul dead balls on Eastlake. This next one's on America. So what looked like it would be a 2nd and a 20 for Eastlake now is a 1st down and 10 for Eastlake after a personal foul, a dead ball personal foul on America. So America shoots itself in the foot, and now Eastlake with a 1st down and 10 inside the red zone, 4:15 left in the ballgame, and Eastlake leading America 17-14.
Alex, thank you very much. What a game there. Another exciting game. We got one at El Paso High, another one at the SAC, all over town. We're going to have an update of all of these games as we take a quick break. You're listening to Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso.
This football season, and for all your sports watching, there's only one place to be in the Sun City, the Union Draft House. 3 locations in town, far west in the Cimarron Plaza, east on Tierra Este, and the newest location on Sunland Park next to the mall. Union Draft House, 100 beers on tap. Feast on their handcrafted food and stay to watch the big game. Pizzas, wings, and beer. Family friendly, perfect for a night out and a great time with friends. The Union Draft House, the after party spot of Football Friday Night. Learn more on Facebook and Instagram at Union Draft House.
Longhorn Distributing is where the pros shop for their cleaning and detail supplies and cleaning equipment for over 27 years. Howdy, Lauren Hodges, owner of Longhorn Distributing, inviting you to our store at 5516 East Paisano, just 2 blocks south of I-10, to see the wide variety of products on display. Most of our chemicals are concentrated, so you can adjust to your need and make the product and your money go farther. Check out our Hotzi pressure washers as well and other cleaning equipment, all on display at Longhorn Distributing in the middle of El Paso.
You're listening to Football Friday Night on 600 ESPN El Paso. Let's go back to Beau Bagley and Paul MacKinnon.
Thank you very much. Welcome back to Football Friday Night, a Week 5 edition. We've got overtime at Irvin in El Paso. We'll have an update from Adrian Broadus on that one in just a little bit. Let's head back out to our Cisco Movers Game of the Week. Steve Escajeda on the line. We'll get him in just a moment. Alex Nicholas, another wild one at the SAC. Just a 3-point game between Eastlake and Americus. Can the Isleta Indians come back? Well, last check, it was just a 2-touchdown game. Instead, El Dorado really throttling the Indians at home, 52-20 at last check. And Lubbock, Cooper, and Hanks should be done in just a moment. We'll get a wrap-up from Isaiah Ramirez in just a little bit.
Out at Conquest Stadium, had just gone final. Jaime Chavez tells us 27-7. Del Valle hangs on.
And we'll get a wrap-up from the coach, Jaime Chavez, in just a little bit. First, Cisco Movers Game of the Week. Let's join Steve Escajeda with an update on Montwood and Franklin. Steve.
Well, this one was close for a while. We've got 1:50 to go in the third quarter, and Franklin now leads Montwood 49-28. Montwood, their 4th turnover of the ball game, a fumble. Franklin taking over deep in Montwood territory. And then that guy, Miles McWhorter, running it in from 10 yards out, his 4th touchdown of the ball game to make it, a 3-score game, 49-28. In fact, for McWhorter, 3 of his last 4 carries have gone for touchdowns. He's got 76 yards, 4 scores, and again, Montwood just shooting themselves in the foot. 4 turnovers in the game, 2 fumbles, 2 INTs. Franklin has not turned it over once in this ball game. 1:45 to go in the third. Franklin now on top of Montwood, 49-28.
Wow, what a game there. Thank you so much, Steve. Franklin really pulling away here. Remember a game that was tied at 21. Franklin now up 49-28.
And it looks like 4 touchdowns for Miles McWhorter. Another solid night for that guy. He can run it. He can catch it. All-purpose back.
Speaking of a game where they'd like to see some more touchdowns, Eastlake and Americus, Alex Nicholas, just a 3-point game in the fourth quarter. Let's go out to Alex for an update here on Eastlake and Americus.
3:01 left in the ballgame. Eastlake holding on to that 17-14 lead over Americas. At this moment here, we have a 3rd down and goal from the 3-yard line for Eastlake. Elijah Uribe, 28 carries, 143 yards. Like I mentioned, he's taken over at quarterback. It's basically been the, whatever you want to describe it, the Wildcat Elijah Uribe, even though he was a quarterback coming up as a freshman. So right now, both teams are lining up. This is a big 3rd down and 3 play as America's burned a timeout to stop it. America's with no timeouts left, and Eastlake with a 3rd down and goal. It'll be Uribe out of the Wildcat, goes to the left side, in trouble. He's going to turn the corner. He's close to the far side goal line. They're going to give it to him. Touchdown for Elijah Uribe, 3-yard run, 2:53 left in the ballgame. Eastlake with a 23, actually, hold on. Let me get a double check on this one. They looks like the far side official. Yes, it's a touchdown. I'm sorry. It is a touchdown. So 23-14, Eastlake, a 3-yard run by Elijah Uribe. 2:53 left here in the 4th quarter and an extra point pending.
All right, Alex, thank you so much. We got an update in overtime from El Paso High and Irvin. Let's go to Adrian Broadus for an update. Adrian, what do you got for us?
El Paso High strikes first in overtime. They lead Irvin 35-27. Let's see if the Rockets can respond.
All right, Adrian, thank you so much. What an exciting one there. All right, let's head out to Jaime Chavez, the coach from Matador Stadium. We have a final between Del Valle and Parkland. Coach, take it away for your final wrap-up.
All right, Beau, Del Valle now 4-1 on the season. Quarterback Jesse Ramos, 2 touchdown passes. He was 15 of 22, 170 yards passing. The 2 TD passes. He also had a 5-yard touchdown run. And Brandon Theus added a 12-yard touchdown run. For Parkland, now 1-4 on the season. Quarterback Eric Ortiz, a 5-yard touchdown run. Isaiah Beasley held in check, 17 carries, 64 yards rushing. The final once again at Matador Stadium, Del Valle 27 and Parkland 7.
All right, Coach, thank you so much. Appreciate for that. We also have a wrap-up from Lubbock Cooper and Hanks and Isaiah Ramirez. This one was all Lubbock Cooper. Isaiah, take it away. Okay, we'll go back out to Isaiah in just a moment. We have some other finals all around town and also the state of New Mexico. In Roswell, Mayfield falls to Roswell 29-21, a game that was tied at 14. Instead, Roswell really pulled away in the second half, and too little, too late for the Mayfield Trojans. They fall to Roswell 29-21. Mayfield falls to 2-4 overall. Also, Santa Teresa improves to 5-1 with a 38-14 victory over Ruidoso. That should be a fun one there for the Santa Teresa Desert Warriors. Santa Teresa really looking good at 5-1 overall. Also elsewhere, Big Spring tops Clint 42-16, La Mesa tops Fabens 13-12, and Riverside falls to Monahans 35-21.
And a final in from Cathedral Fighting Irish out at Austin, R.E. McKee Stadium tonight. They come away with the 35-14 win over San Elizario. And I'll just say, pretty good representation for San Eli. It could have been a lot worse.
Hey, Cathedral improves to 4-1 on the season there. Big win for the Cathedral Fighting Irish.
Curtis Crane, I think this is his 3rd year now. 2019 is first, and of course, COVID 2020, they played a game. I'm not sure that counts. This is more like year 2 and a third.
Well, Cathedral will host St. Michael's next week, see if they can improve to 5-1 on the season. Hey, let's head out to Hanks Excalibur Stadium for an update on and the final wrap-up for Lubbock Cooper and Hanks. Isaiah, please take it away.
Thanks, Beau. Final here at Excalibur Stadium on homecoming night for the Hanks Knights as they fall to the Lubbock Cooper Pirates 55-10. They fall down to 1-4 on the season as Lubbock Cooper moves to 4-1 on the season. For the Pirates, it was Tyler Sproul and Bryce LeBlanc who switched out at quarterback. Tyler Sproul going 53 yards rushing and a rushing touchdown as well, and going for 82 passing yards with LeBlanc passing for 103 passing yards. On the ground, it was Caden Chambers with 2 rushing touchdowns on 10 carries and 82 yards. Defensive spotlight would have to go to Kobe McKenzie, who finished the night with 10 tackles and a pick 6 as well. For the Knights, they definitely have to regroup on offense and defense, as they have allowed over 100 points in back-to-back games, 100 points total in back-to-back games. With Burgess drubbing them last week 68 points on the board, and tonight with 55. For the Knights, they go on to take on the Del Valle Conquistadores on the road next week, as Lubbock Cooper will have a bye, and they will take on the Plainview Bulldogs at home on October 8th. So once again, the final out here at Excalibur Stadium, it is the Lubbock Cooper defeating the Hanks Knights 55-10.
All right, Isaiah, thank you so much. We'll see you at our post-game get-together at Union Draft House on Sunland Park Drive. Hey, let's get an update from Eastlake and Americus at the Sac and join Alex Nicholas in a tight one between the Falcons and the Trailblazers. Alex.
92 seconds left in our ball game. Eastlake 23, Americas 14. Americas desperately trying to move the ball here. Mark Moore with a carry across the 40. Spins past two defenders and then picks up a first down across the 35 to the 34-yard line. Americas just trying to some sort of offense to go as put off some offense together. It's been a better second half for them, but it's a first down and 10 for Americas at the 34-yard line of Eastlake, 1:17 and running to go. More with a swing pass to Drennan, left side. Drennan brought down hard inside the 30-yard line. So 1:10 and running left here in the fourth quarter, and looks like Eastlake will hold on to a 23-14 win over Americas as we approach the 1 minute mark here in the ballgame.
All right, could be too little too late for the Americas Trailblazers as Eastlake up by 9 with a minute to go. Alex, thank you so much. We'll come back to you in just a little bit. A reminder in overtime between Irvin and El Paso. El Paso High struck first, 35-27. We'll have an update from Adrian Brandes on that game in just a little bit. Let's head back out to our Cisco Movers game of the week between Montwood and Franklin. Get an update from Steve Escajeda. Steve.
We've got 11:35 to go in the ball game, and Franklin continues to lead Montwood 49-28. Montwood shows some life driving down to the Franklin 25-yard line when Montwood's quarterback Kevin Melendez hit Isaiah Claudio with a pass. It looked like he was going to go into the end zone for a score. He was hit hard right at the 1-yard line, fumbled the ball through the end zone for a touchback, and Franklin took over at the 25-yard line. Montwood again turning it over for the 5th time tonight. And that's been the difference in the ball game. And although now they're going to get some life here, Franklin is back to punt. The snap went over the punter's reach, and Montwood is going to take over at the Franklin 15-yard line. So this one might not be over yet. We'll see what happens. 10:50 is going to go in this one. Franklin 49, Montwood 28.
Not so special teams keeps Montwood alive.
Wow. What a game there. You know what? Montwood and special teams, they always say that's one of the aspects you might forget about, but it's so crucial to a game. And a game like this, a must-win, we're two even teams. You got to get special teams, got to get it all together.
Yeah, what was it a few years ago? I think it was the Chapin Huskies, Rene Hernandez, who wasn't it 3 years in a row? Who did they have? It was Abilene or maybe Amarillo High, and special teams bit them fourth quarter style like 2 or 3 years in a row. So even at the highest level, a good team like Chapin, special teams mistakes killed them.
At last check, Andrus led Bowie 33-16 late in the game, and I'm looking like we got an update from overtime at Jones Stadium.
I wish we had an overtime
Okay, what do you got, Adrian?
But I swooped in for the Andrus Eagles. It's the fourth quarter right now. They're up 52-22 against the Bowie Bears. A huge lead for them right now. No update yet as El Paso High struck first in overtime. Let's see if Irvin can respond.
Okay, thank you very much, Adrian. Hey, it should be a final out at Highlander Stadium, and we'll go ahead back out to Joe Rodriguez for an update on Horizon and Bel Air and a wrap-up out there. Joe.
You are correct, Bo. It is all over here at Highlander Stadium on homecoming night, where the Horizon Scorpions come in and defeat the Bel Air Highlanders by the score of 64-28. A total of 515 yards offensively for the Horizon Scorpions tonight. Not bad for a team that came into the night averaging 378 yards of offense per game, but definitely, without a doubt, the man of the night has to be Jacob Quijas. He carried the ball for about 13 times for 108 yards on the ground, but through the air, he was spectacular. 12 for 18, 177 yards, and 4 touchdown passes on the night. Mr. Quijas was the player of the game out here at Highlander Stadium. The Scorpions improved to 2-3, picking up their second victory of the season, while the Bel Air Highlanders dropped to 2-3 overall in the season. Next week for Horizon, they will host the Chapin Huskies, while the Bel Air Highlanders will have another home game as they host Canutillo. That's all for out here tonight in the Ranchland area of El Paso, Texas, where the Horizon Scorpions have defeated the Bel Air Highlanders by the score of 64-28.
So, Bo, last week, Horizon 5A team loses to 4A Riverside. And now 5A Horizon beats Super 5A Bel Air, which, by the way, some injuries. I know the Christian Baxter kid, one of their real weapons, he's been getting limited snaps and almost no action over the last 2 contests. So, in a sense, Super 5A Bel Air lost to 4A Riverside. That is not good, and not good for a Bel Air team that maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago look like they might be ready to do something, in Super 5A. Not win the district, but at least compete. They've fallen, and they can't get up.
That's some deductive reasoning right there, but Horizon and Bel Air,
yeah.
It's tough. Horizon, a huge win, 64 points on there. Hey, this one should be done at the reservation between El Dorado and Isleta. Let's head out to Joey Panisi for our final wrap-up of this game. Joey.
Yes, Bo, you just hit it right on the head. The game just ended. Final score, El Dorado 52, Isleta 26. Eldo doubled them up. I'll be quick, some big numbers. Damian Contreras came to life for Isleta. Big numbers, 17 for 29, passing 356 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's good for him. He's their star, but they're one-dimensional. Isleta's one-dimensional. They had under 100 yards rushing from 6 different runners. They got to get that running game going. And then for El Dorado, they're the best 1-3 team I've ever seen. Isaiah Rudison didn't play at all, or maybe just a little bit the second half. 214 yards rushing on 23 carries for a touchdown. Ricardo Portillo, he's their passer. He had 2 touchdown tosses for 127 yards. And then the playmaker of the game was the other quarterback, Quincy Estrada. He's 6 foot, 207 pounds, solid muscle. He threw 6 times, completed all 6 for 51 yards, and then he rushed for 120 yards and 3 touchdowns. But once again, let me give some credit to little Noah Moreno. He scored 10 points tonight, 7 for 7 from the PAT zone and a 3-point field goal. So let's see, next week, El Dorado will be tested. What do they got? Next week they have, I'm so sorry I'm not in it. They host Parkland next week. So that'll be a good test for both teams to see how they're going to shape up when district begins. El Dorado begins district on the 22nd of October versus Del Valle. Isleta goes to 3-2. They will play at El Paso High next week. So that'll do it from Isleta High School. Final score, El Dorado 52, Isleta 26.
El Dorado and Parkland next week. A team with no quarterbacks to a team with 2, Estrada and Portillo. We'll see how that goes.
That should be a fun one. El Dorado victorious over Isleta 52-26. Thank you so much, Joey. Joey, we'll see you at our post-game get-together at Union Draft House on Sunland Park Drive. Let's get an update from our Cisco Movers Game of the Week between Montwood and Franklin and join Steve Escajeda. Steve, take it away.
We've got 9:09 to go in the fourth quarter, and it's now Franklin 49, Montwood 31. Diego Zavala just knocked in a 39-yard field goal to bring Montwood a little bit closer. Again, Montwood they're kind of deep in the Franklin territory, right on the 10-yard line, but again, some just terrible penalties and offside and personal fouls, that kind of thing. Just dropped 15 yards from there, and again, they just had to settle for a field goal. And they've been, again, shooting themselves in the foot all night long. Penalties, turnovers, that kind of thing, or else it'd be a lot closer ball game. But we do have 9:09 to go in this one. Franklin, 49, Montwood, 31.
49-31, Franklin over Montwood in the fourth. What a game of the week, and we got another exciting game at Jones Stadium. Let's go to Adrian Broadus for an update. I'm smelling double OT.
Double OT. Irvin forces the double OT. A long 13-minute drive caps off with a touchdown for the Irvin Rockets. It's a tie game, 35-35, double overtime.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo, double OT.
And remember, if it gets to triple over OT, what do they have to do, boys and girls? Go for 2.
Oh, absolutely. You got to love that.
How about El Paso High? Good for them. Remember, they did get a district win last year. That's how bad Bowie was. Bowie winless on the season. El Paso was able to get him, so it hasn't been that long. I guess it just seems like it's been that long since El Paso High's won a district game. They got a great shot at one tonight.
Certainly is. We'll keep you updated. Thank you so much. Adrian brought us with an update. Irvin and El Paso now in double overtime. And we have a final out in the SAC. For an update on Eastlake and Americus, let's head out for the final wrap-up to Alex Nicholas at the Student Activities Complex. Alex.
Eastlake remains unbeaten in their short 1-6A life as they hold off America's 23-14. Eastlake improves to 4-0 on the season, 1-0 in district play, going back to last year where they won 5 district games. They're now 6-0 as they're in their second year of playing in District 1-6A. Individually speaking, for Eastlake, of course, it was Eli Uribe, 29 carries, 146 yards, and a touchdown. Also moved quarterback midway through the second quarter and went 5 of 8 passing, 83 yards, and a touchdown in this ball game. Defensively for Eastlake, Albert Hernandez came up with 2 big interceptions in the first half to hold Eastlake, to give Eastlake that 3-0 halftime lead. For Americas, you could tell, like I mentioned on Sports Talk earlier today, when you lose 42 lettermen from 2020, you've got to find something. You got to find something new. And they worked in 2 different quarterbacks, different schemes. They went under center. They went pistol. They went shotgun. They tried a lot of things that just didn't quite work. But in the second half, they did put a valiant effort, 186 total yards for the ball game. Cesar Drennan, a quiet night, only 2 touches in the first half, finished with 12 carries for 84 yards. And a touchdown as Americas drops to 0-4 on the season, 0-1 district. They will host the Coro next week, while Eastlake will face Pebble Hills coming off their upset win over Eastwood last week. So a good matchup once again next week between Eastlake and Pebble Hills. All final at the SAC. Eastlake stays undefeated. They defeat Americas 23-14.
All right, Alex, thank you so much. 23-14 Eastlake, now improving to 4-0. Thank you so much, Alex. We'll see you at our post-game get-together at the Union Draft House on Sunland Park Drive. We have another final from Beatty Semang Stadium. The Andress Eagles top the Bowie Bears 52-22. Andress improves to 3-1 on the season. And guess what? Next week, Andress will get a little bit of a tougher test. They will host the Austin Panthers at Alan Sepkowitz Stadium. We only have 2 games still going on right now between Irvin and El Paso at Jones Stadium, and also Montwood and Franklin at our Cisco Movers Game of the Week. We're going to take a quick break, Football Friday Night, and come back with those games. You're listening to 600 ESPN El Paso. Welcome back to Football Friday Night, Week 5. We have some exciting games between Montwood and Franklin and Irvin and El Paso. Jones Stadium seeing their second overtime right now. We'll get an update from that game in just a moment. First, let's head back out to our Cisco Movers Game of the Week. Get an update on Montwood and Franklin from Steve Escajeda. Steve, take it away.
You've got 5:23 to go in the ball game. It's still Franklin out in front of Montwood, 49-31. Montwood right now has the ball. They've driven it down to the Franklin 19-yard line. They're looking at a first down there. Again, trying to see if they can get back into this one. I tell you, Montwood's quarterback, Kevin Melendez, doing a lot of damage on the ground in the second half. 12 carries, 140 yards, and a touchdown to go along with his 2 touchdown passes. So, in fact, there's a penalty on the play. That'll put Montwood down to inside the 10-yard line. So, again, there might be some more scoring here, but next time you come back to me. 5:23 to go in the ball game. Franklin 49, Montwood 31.
All right, Steve, thank you so much. We have some finals from all around town. Eastlake tops Americus 23-14. It's a final at Matador Stadium. Del Valle tops Parkland 27-7. A final at Hutchins Stadium. El Dorado all over Isleta 52-26. Final from Joe Rod and Bel Air over Horizon. I should say Horizon over Bel Air 64-28. A final from Lowenberg Stadium. Canutillo tops Mountain View 57-0. Hanks falls to the 5th-ranked team in the state, the Lubbock Cooper Pirates, 55-10. Coronado gets their first victory of the year. They defeat Socorro 14-0. It's a final at Beatty Semang Stadium. Andress tops Bowie 52-12. Remember, Irvin and El Paso in their second overtime. We'll keep you updated. It's tied at 35. Monahans tops Riverside 35-21. Fabens falls to La Mesa by 1 point, 13-12. Clint falls to Big Spring 42-16. Mayfield and Roswell were once tied at 14, but Roswell pulls away for a 29-21 victory. Wow. Gadsden tops Hot Springs from Truth or Consequences 35-13. Gadsden improves to 3-3 overall. Silver City falls to Chaparral 51-0. I should say, let's take that back. Let's redo this. Silver City tops Chaparral 51-0. Silver City improves to 5-0. Chaparral falls to 0-5. Santa Teresa tops Ruidoso 38-14. And Cathedral improves to 4-1. The Fighting Irish defeat the San Eli Eagles 35-14.
Out-of-town scoreboard, Abilene doubles up Odessa Permian. Major upset from Ratliff Stadium. 42-21, Abilene wins their first district game of the season. Permian drops 0-1, 3-2 on the season. Friendship takes down Central 49-32. Friendship, of course, 1-0. First district game for all these guys in 2-6A. 4-1 on the season. Friendship. Central slips to 2-3. Wow. Remember, they just barely got by Montwood. Otherwise, 1-4 on the season. Not good. Midland High, another upset, beats Odessa High 49-21. Odessa Bronchos been playing well. Midland, well, till tonight. Time for district. They turn it on. 1-0 they are. Odessa falls to 0-1. 5A, Lubbock Monterey all over Lubbock, 62-7. Amarillo beats Caprock, 34-3. Thursday nighter. Tascosa, 47-6 over Palo Duro. 4-0 Palo Duro, now 4-1. Palo Duro. Tascosa continues to roll. Wichita Falls Rider all over Hobbs, 33-0 shutout. Canyon Randall beats Dumas 38-19. Hereford over Plainview in a close one, 34-28. They move to 3-2. Plainview falls to 1-4. Thursday nighter, Andrews over Estacado, 14-7, moves to 2-3. And Fort Stockton shuts out Pecos 42-0 in a battle of 3-1 teams. And Beau Bagley for the last time tonight. That is your out-of-town scoreboard.
All right, Paul, thank you very much. Our out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by Longhorn Distributing. Once again, El Paso High and Irvin in their second overtime at Jones Stadium, tied at 35. We'll get an update from there. Let's head back out to our Cisco Movers Game of the Week, the Montwood Rams and the Franklin Cougars, and join Steve Escajeda with an update. Steve.
Well, we've got 4:58 to go in the ball game, and it's a little bit closer. Montwood just scoring a touchdown to cut the Franklin lead down to 49-37. Kevin Melendez hitting Yamil Oaxaca from 14 yards out, again to get them a little closer. The extra point try for two. In fact, it was no good. There's a penalty, and they're going to maybe try it again. Looks like they're bringing the whole thing back on the field, and they're going to go for two again. It's been that kind of a night. But again, Oaxaca so far in the ball game, 5 catches, 101 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Let's see, Montwood's going to go ahead and go for 2. Let's you know how this one goes. Again, Melendez in the shot, waiting for the snap in the shotgun. He's going to hand that ball off, and it's going to be good. Looks like Joseph Cepeda running it in for 2 points. That makes it now 49-39. Montwood getting a little closer. 4:58 to go in this ball game. Kevin Melendez, Montwood's quarterback, 15 out of 27, 180 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. So, do you all believe in miracles? I don't know. We're going to find out. 4:58 to go in this one. Franklin leading Montwood 49-39.
And Beau down 2 scores, a little under 5 minutes left in the game. I think it's already time for the Montwood Ram onside kick.
Absolutely, let's bring it. Can Oaxaca do it? He already has over 100 yards receiving, 3 touchdowns, probably has the best hands of the team. Get your hands team out there for onside kick.
Yeah, no doubt. No, he'll be among that up group, and it's so hard to onside kick these days. Anyway, the most you can do is overload one extra guy to one side, so you can have 6 on one side and 4 on the other, something like that.
And we have 2 games remaining in El Paso still. Irvin and El Paso High. They're in double overtime right now, tied at 35. Looking at Adrian Broadus, do we have an update? We do have an update. Let's go to Adrian for an overtime update. Adrian, take it away.
Final in double overtime, El Paso High 41,
Holy
the Irvin
smokes.
Rockets 35.
Wow, that's huge.
El Paso High gets their first victory of the season, 41-35 over the Irvin Rockets in double overtime. Wow. Have the mighty have fallen in the Irvin Rockets?
Tri-champs last year, I'll say it again, I hate to rub it in. So the team that loses to Socorro for the first time in 6 seasons last week now takes down one of the tri-champs in District 2-5A, the Irvin Rockets. Big night for El Paso High. They're just waiting around for when it really matters. We can't be bothered with those non-district games. Who cares about Socorro?
Remember, this game tied at halftime at 13, went into overtime, tied at 27. El Paso High with a double overtime victory, 41-35 over the Irvin Rockets. El Paso High improves to 1-3 overall. They will host the Isleta Indians next week, while the Irvin Rockets, they limp home now at 2-3 overall. The Irvin Rockets will host the Jefferson Silver Foxes. That's a big game next Friday night between Jeff and Irvin at Tony Shaw Field at Irvin Memorial Stadium.
Without a doubt. And remember the job that El Paso coach Ray Aguilar did at San Eli. He flipped that program a bit. That's how he got the El Paso job, because he did such a nice job where he was. And maybe this is the beginnings of another flip, this time to the El Paso Tigers. It's a tough flip, but maybe he's getting it done just the same.
Hey, the Montwood Rams, do they go for the onside kick? Let's go back out to Steve Escahead on our Cisco Movers Game of the Week to get an update between Montwood and Franklin. Steve, take it away.
Well, they did try it, but Franklin did recover on their own 32-yard line. They're running out of bounds from there, and they're going to take over 1st and 10. 4:56 to go in this one. Franklin holding on to a 49-39 lead. And on the first carry, that looks like it's going to be a 12-yard carry. That looks like Miles McCorder, again, to give Franklin a first down at their own 46-yard line. McCorder in the ball game, 17 carries, 91 yards, 4 touchdowns so far. And again, with the clock ticking under 4:40, again, Franklin put 2 or 3 first downs together, and this one's pretty much over.
All right, Steve, thank you so much. What a game here by the Franklin Cougars. Looks like they're going to hold on against the Montwood Rams. We're going to take a quick break, get a final from Franklin Cougar Stadium. If this ever goes final before 11 o'clock, I don't know. Once again, I think Steve Escahead jinxed himself. We're going to take a quick break, come back, take a look at next week, and hopefully have a wrap-up from Franklin High School and between the Montwood Rams and the Franklin Cougars. You're listening to Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso.
Cisco Movers, the local experts for moving across El Paso. Need to move your college student into their new apartment? How about moving an entire family from point A to point B? Too busy to plan a move on your own? Cisco Movers can take care of everything. Packing, boxing, heavy lifting. Cisco Movers will take care of your prized possessions and ensure they get to your next destination with ease. When it comes to moving, don't stress. Let the top professionals at Cisco Movers handle the job. Get a free quote on your next move today at CiscoMovers.com.
600 ESPN El Paso and 95.5 KLAQ present UTEP Football 2021.
Hi, this is Adrian Broadus
with Sal Montes.
This season, you'll hear a mix of UTEP football games live on KLAQ and 600 ESPN El Paso.
Game 4 against the New Mexico Lobos, Saturday, September 25th.
And after the game, get ready for Minor Talk.
Only on 600 ESPN El Paso.
Need a new restaurant to try? Experience Taco Avocado for feel-good fast food. Family packs available for the next big game. Or stop by their drive-thru and grab Taco Avocado to go. Wear your school colors and receive 10% off at Taco Avocado. Dine in at 2114 North Zaragoza or order online at tacoavocado.com. Signature hand-rolled tacos, classic dips, and make sure to get the chips on the side. Taco about the options, all at Taco Avocado. 2114 North Zaragoza or online at tacoavocado.com.
Did you know that at the El Paso Association of Builders, there's more than just builders? Attorneys, car dealers, banks, credit unions, suppliers, and vendors are real Texas Builder members. Why? Because they know that you have to trust what goes into your new home. El Paso Association of Builders associate members are proud to be a member of the El Paso Association of Builders. Go to elpasobuilders.com to check out your next car, kitchen, bath, or how to buy them. Supporting Football Friday Night, associate members of the El Paso Association of Builders are just a click away.
The 2021.
You're listening to Football Friday Night on 600 ESPN El Paso. Let's go back to Beau Bagley and Paul MacKinnon.
Welcome back to Week 5 of Football Friday Night right here on 600 ESPN El Paso. Let's head back out to our Cisco Movers Game of the Week. Get an update from Steve Escajeda as the Franklin Cougars. Can they hold on for a 10-point victory? Let's find out. Steve, take it away.
3:07 to go in the ball game. Franklin still up on Montwood, 49-39. Right now, Franklin has the ball on the Montwood 39-yard line. We're looking at a 3rd down and 9. There was a pass attempt that was complete, but there was a penalty. May have been holding on Franklin. It'll move them back a little bit here. One thing we've seen all night long is that these officials, when they finally make a decision, it takes them quite a while to walk the ball and back. And here we go, 1, 2, 3, 4, taking a step, walking 10 yards is taking all this time.
Steve Escajeda, let me tell you, man, I absolutely concur. I was at the Burgess-Jeff game last night. Everything is a conference. You are dead on, sir.
I mean, you are not kidding. And now they're putting the ball down right now. Finally, there we go. Okay. Now we're looking at a 3rd down at about 25 yards to go for Franklin. Again, now they're back to their own 37-yard line. Again, they just want to go ahead and run out this clock and go home. They're up by 10. 3:04, 3:03 to go in this one. Got about 7 minutes to go on the play clock. They're going to try to waste as much time as they can. And if there's a snap finally, the quarterback, Cameron Bird's going to keep it up the middle. Good gain all the way down to the Montwood 39, 38-yard line. Got about 15 of those 25 yards. That'll make it a 4th down and about maybe 10 yards to go. We'll say 4th and 9 now from the 38-yard line of Montwood. And the Rams do call timeout. They had all 3 timeouts left. They've just called their first for the second half, so they've got 2 left. 2:48 to go, again down by 10.
Okay, Steve, thank you so much. What we're going to do is going to run down the scores. We'll go back out to you in just a little bit. Remember, in double overtime, the El Paso High Tigers topped the Irvin Rockets 41-35. Andrus Eagles topped the Bowie Bears 52-22. And right now, currently in the 4th quarter, the Franklin Cougars lead the Montwood Rams 49-39, as Steve just said, just a couple minutes to go in that one. Eastlake tops Americus to improve to 4-0, 23-14. Americus drops to 0-4. An exciting game next week between the Eastlake Falcons and the Pebble Hills Spartans. That'll be 7:30 p.m. Friday night at the SAC. Pebble Hills at Eastlake, a battle between the Socorro ISD schools. Both teams 1-0 in district. Should be a fun one. Del Valle tops Parkland 27-7. Del Valle improves to 4-1. El Dorado tops Isleta 52-26. Horizon all over Bel Air tonight 64-28. Canutillo shuts out Mountain View 57-0. Lubbock Cooper, the 5th-ranked team in the state, tops Hanks 55-10. And the Coronado T-Birds get their first victory of the season. They top Socorro 14-0. And other action in 4A, Monahans over Riverside 35-21 in a battle of 2 4-0 teams. La Mesa tops Fabens by 1 point, 13-12. And Big Spring all over Clint 42-0. 16. Cathedral all over San Elizario, 35-14. The Fighting Irish improved to 4-1. In the Land of Enchantment, Roswell beats Mayfield 29-21. Gadsden all over Hot Springs, 35-13. Silver City tops Chaparral, 51-0. And Santa Teresa improves to 5-1 with a 38-14 victory over the Ruidoso Warriors. Let's head back out to Cougar Stadium and join Steve Escajeda with an update on Montwood and Franklin as time winds down in the fourth quarter. Franklin holding on to a 10-point lead. Steve, what do you got for us?
Well, 2:41 still to go in this ball game, and believe it or not, we're waiting for the officials. They're still walking around, talking to both coaches. Both teams have no clue what's going on. They're talking to each other on the 33-yard line. All of us here in the press box are trying to figure it out. We have no idea what's going on. It was fourth and about 9. Franklin carried the ball. They tried to run, gained about 3 yards. Should be first down Montwood. But, okay, now Montwood's offense is coming onto the field finally. Franklin's defense is coming on. And I think we may have some semblance of normalcy here now. 2:41 still to go in the ball game. And this game is just ground to a halt. I mean, I feel like we're walking on quicksand here. Again, Franklin up by 10. Montwood will have the ball now. Now they're going to mark it at their own 22-yard line. And Montwood will take over from there. Again, they're down by 10. They still have a chance. Kevin Melendez waiting for the snap. He's in the shotgun. He's got it now. He's going to throw that pass. It's going to be incomplete down to the on the right sideline. That's going to be an incompletion. That'll make it second down. 10 yards to go. Again, from their own 22-yard line. Down by 10. And again, a valiant effort to get back in this ball game. But I'm telling you, this game has just been so difficult for both teams to get anything going. It's just a slow.
Okay, Steve, we're gonna break in for just a moment as this game winds down. We're gonna come back out to you in just a moment to get an update from that one. 2 minutes to go in that one. Franklin up by 10. As Paul, as we take a look at next week, I think the big one Friday night, 7:30 p.m. at the SAC, Pebble Hills and East Lake, likely our game of the week as we briefly discuss this one. Both teams 1-0 in district.
Yeah, and the last couple of nights makes that one even a little bit more exciting. Pebble Hill struggling a bit. We thought early, wow, what a job they did against Permian. And then week after week, we see that maybe it wasn't such a great job, losing a close game to Permian. As Permian falls to Abilene High, they get doubled up at their own place tonight on homecoming night. So the Panthers, as you said earlier, they're not what we thought they were, kind of the opposite. So, but then Pebble Hills gets the big win over defending, reigning 1-6A champs Eastwood last night, 29-28. Drive the field late. Gael Ochoa, the sophomore QB, I think he's won that job now from Jacob Ledesma. Short touchdown run on a keeper. They're down 1. They roll the dice. They go for 2. Ochoa again knocks it in. Big 29-28 win. So now we have a team that's moving in the right direction, which is upward. Pebble Hill's coming off a high. Do they carry that momentum over? And then you have an East Lake team. Well, they're playing Americas. Americas, kind of struggled over a month. Del Valle really handled them, made them look bad, a few weeks ago. But East Lake struggles with Americas. America's able to hold in tonight. That's a 17-14 game late before East Lake's finally able to put it away. So you got a team on an up bubble, and you got a team on a down bubble, even though the down bubble team is still undefeated. That's a pretty darn good thing. Yeah, that looks like a terrific game. And like you said, I think no doubt it looks like our game of the week next week.
A big week in District 1-6A. We got double headers Thursday night and Friday night at the SAC. Thursday night, Americus and Socorro will take on each other at the SAC, 4 p.m., followed by Parkland at El Dorado, 7:30 p.m. Sunday. And then the early game on Friday, Coronado and Montwood, followed by Pebble Hills and East Lake at 7:30. But another huge game in District 1-6A, Franklin and Eastwood. We're going to find out which team Eastwood really is, if they can bounce back after a tough 1-point loss to Pebble Hills. Eastwood hosts Franklin, 7 p.m. Friday night at Trooper Stadium. Should be a fun one. And then one we just noticed right now, Jefferson and Irvin. That's going to be a big game in 5A.
Yeah, that might be the game for the fourth and final playoff spot. We said that coming in, but what a surprise. Who knew El Paso High was going to take out Irvin in double overtime? So maybe it's not as a big a game as we thought it was. But no, Jefferson, a good team this year, got a lot of nice skilled guys. Nathan Alcala, the 4-year starter quarterback, gave Burgess everything they wanted last night. 14-zip Burgess early. Looked like that was going to be a runaway. Jeff finds a way. Burgess, not smart, goes for it on 4th and 1 from their own 29-yard line late in the first half. Come up short on a full-yard quarterback sneak. Jeff's in the end zone, and that thing was 14-14 early in the third quarter. Needed some big plays from Tavares Jones and some plays from the other guys. Touchdown catch from Adam Sierra, one from Sean Street when Tavares Jones off injured. About every third play, that guy was hobbling off the field. So that's something to look at also if you're the Burgess Mustangs. You know, maybe the best player in the city, possibly not the healthiest player in the city. So, but Jeff has a big chance to get back in the playoffs for the first time since Art Rubio's brother Jose was a senior and scoring touchdowns for Jeff.
There we go. Elsewhere in 5A, the Andress Eagles host the Austin Panthers. Should be a good one. Burgess Mustangs host the Bowie Bears. And El Paso High Tigers will host the Isleta Indians. See if the Tigers can keep it up.
You talk about games that look like they're good now. Of course, that one doesn't mean anything. El Paso, Isleta, not in the same district. Non-district game, El Paso just looking to stay busy. And what a great time to stay busy after you get your big win. You don't want a night off. Let's get out there and hopefully stay hot.
Speaking of staying hot, the Canutillo Eagles will travel to Highlander Stadium. Boy, Canutillo looks really good after a 57-0 win tonight, and they probably hit the brakes a little bit in the fourth quarter there too.
Right.
The Chapin Huskies, see if they can keep. Remember, Chapin beat Austin Thursday night, 43-13. Chapin now travels to Clint, and let's see if Riverside can bounce back. Tough game at Monahan's. Riverside will host Alpine. That 6 p.m. at Riverfront Stadium. See if the Rangers can bounce back there.
Yeah, I like their chances there. Riverside playing good ball. And you know what? A two-score, what was the final against Monahan's? Like a 35-21 or something like that. That's representative. Riverside did the job. Oh, I hit it. Once in a while you just make a lucky guess, and it happens to come through. It's always bad to get your first loss. Riverside flying high. It's going to, bruise the ego a little bit, burst the bubble. But still, they hung in with a good team on the road, the same team that came down and handled Clint by, a similar score, a couple of scores. I think when you go up to their place and hang tough with their refs, you've actually done something. I think Riverside staking their claim as maybe the top team, especially after, the beating Mountain View took tonight at the hands of hot Canutillo. Riverside may be the early odds-on favorite for that 4A title this year.
Absolutely. Speaking of Mountain View, they host Pecos next week. That'll be a tough game. And then Cathedral. Cathedral is 4-1. They will host St. Michael's. Interesting there to see if the Fighting Irish can improve to 5-1. Hey, let's head back out to Steve Escajeda to see if we've got a wrap-up here as we wrap up Football Friday night. See if we have a wrap-up from our Cisco Movers Game of the Week. Steve, what do you got between Montwood and Franklin?
Well, not quite yet, guys. 1:24 to go still in the ball game. Stoppage upon stoppage upon stoppage. It's still 49-39, Franklin over Montwood. Montwood driven the ball down to the Franklin 31-yard line. 2nd and 11 from there. One of the Montwood players a little dazed on that last play, so he's kind of walking him off the field a little slowly just to make sure he's okay. And then they'll go ahead and snap it from there. Montwood again has 2 timeouts left in the ball game, and guys, there's been so many stoppages here in this fourth quarter. Melendez waiting for the snap. He's in the shotgun again. 2nd and 11 from the Franklin 31-yard line. Melendez has the ball going back. He's going to go ahead and throw it out here to the flat on the right side. It's going to be a pickup of about we're going to see down to about the 22-yard line. That'll make it 3rd down and about maybe 2 yards to go. That'll stop the clock with 1:13 to go. Again, Franklin up by 10.
All right, Steve, as Montwood and Franklin start to wind down, an exciting night for the Franklin Cougars, not just on the field that they're up 49-39, up by 10 with about a minute and a half to go, but Darren Walker, the longtime coach at Chapin, now longtime coach at Franklin High School, he's back on the sidelines for the Franklin Cougars. This is very, very big for them as they're aiming for now a district title and possibly postseason glory again.
Yeah, and we've talked about how important, Darren Walker is to the city. Every time, we talk about, there's a new head coach. Yeah, where's he coming? Well, he's coming from Franklin. He's from Franklin. We had another one this year, Chris Taylor at Andrus, for Franklin connections. McPherson, who was in charge while Darren was out for a month. Franklin connections, he was there at Franklin back in the day with Patrick Brown, who went to Andrus. They took off to Andrus together. They went to San Antonio together, off to Los Fresnos together. And then when McMortar comes back, part of the tree, Rene Hernandez, who was out for Chapin for so many years, part of the Darren Walker tree. Who do they replace him with? Well, Ron Warner. Who was Ron Warner? Well, he was part of the first senior class at Chapin High School. Who was he playing for? Well, he was playing for Darren Walker.
And then coached with Walker at Franklin High School. There you go.
Absolutely. So Darren Walker's really put his imprint on this city. And when anybody's going and looking for a new coach, a hot new head coach, somebody who can flip a program, that's always the first place that they look, because there's quality coaching going on at Franklin High School. Darren Walker's done it for a lot of years. I think Chapin. What was Chapin's first year? I want to say 2001. I believe it. Yeah, I believe because he took over Franklin, I think, in 06. So he did 5 years at Chapin, starting in 01, and that's building the program. So he. Even before then, it was probably 1999 when he was named the head coach out there. So, and then to Franklin ever since, and constant success out there. A lot of good teams, mostly good years, mostly up years. If you don't have that at Franklin, you definitely pay the price. So, Walker's been the man. It's just a big night to get him back, and the team stepped up and performed for him.
On homecoming night, Franklin up by 10 with about a minute to go over the Montwood Rams. And maybe Darren Walker could be considered the Nick Saban of El Paso, the way he's developed that coaching tree over the years. Let's head back out to Steve Escajeda and let's see if they've, in the last couple minutes, maybe they've used about 5 seconds off the clock. Steve, what do you got for us?
Well, a little more than that, but quarterback Kevin Melendez just snuck it in from 1 yard out to make it now 49-45, Franklin. Looks like they're going to go ahead and go for the extra point here. Again, just 23 seconds left to go in the ball game. But again, Montwood just kind of getting a little closer, little by little. And boy, I'll tell you one thing: we'll see if they can do have a miracle finish here. At least with the onside kick, the extra point try is no good.
Oh.
That's not going to help.
Hurts.
That makes it 49-45. That's going to be wide to the left and no good. 23 seconds to go, and of course, all Montwood has now is to recover that onside kick.
And that's obviously the big part of it, the extra point. Now it's still a 4-point game, Steve. You can't tie this thing with a field goal and send it into OT at this late hour. Maybe I would say that's a good thing. Thank you so much for missing the extra point, but.
Yeah.
But it's a big deal. Now you got to not only recover the onside kick, but in those 20-something seconds, you got to score yourself a touchdown, or you're going to go home with the L no matter how hard you try.
Yeah, that's a tough miss there, the PAT wide there for the Montwood Rams. So now just a 4-point game, 49-45, as Steve said, 23 seconds left. Steve, what was a crowd out there like? A homecoming night, a big night. They just had their homecoming parade. Franklin did on Wednesday night. What's the crowd out there like with the atmosphere tonight, and what's the crowd like right now?
Well, you can probably figure no one's gone home. Pretty nice crowd here tonight. Very loud, excited. Again, it's been a really good ball game. Again, things have just kind of really slowed down. Oh, in fact, here's the onside kick. No, Montwood almost recovered it, but it just does go out of bounds. Great try. In fact, right at the right side of the sideline there. Again, one of the players stuck his hand out, almost pulled it in. But again, that will go out of bounds, and it'll be Franklin's ball at their own 41-yard line.
So
all they do is a couple of snaps. Again, Montwood does have a couple of timeouts still.
Oh, great.
But this one is pretty much over.
Oh, so Franklin's looks like they're going to hold on to win this one. 49-45. Franklin with the ball, 20 seconds to go. So Franklin's going to improve to 2-2 overall, 1-0 in district, while Montwood falls to 1-3, 0-1 in district. Once again, Franklin, a very big game next week at Trooper Stadium. You got to think the Eastwood Troopers are going to come in with a little chip on their shoulder, going to be a little angry after a 1-point loss to Pebble Hills last night.
Yeah, you would think we'll find out. Remember, a team that predominantly throws the football, so you got to do that well. But one thing I could have sworn I just heard you say, presumably gonna win the game. I got two words for you, Beau Bagley. You're old enough to remember. Joe Pisarcik.
Oh, my gosh.
And Herm Edwards are the other two.
Steve, let's head back out to you. Let's see if this game is going to wind down now. Franklin and Montwood.
Okay, so Franklin, again, they're in victory position. They're going to take a knee, and Montwood will call a timeout, of course. So there are 20 seconds to go. Montwood still has one more chance to stop it. That'll be it. Frank, this game's pretty much over. Again, the guys are shaking hands out there. They know it's all done. Let me give you some individual stats real quick. This game's pretty much over. First of all, for Montwood, Kevin Melendez, quarterback, 18 out of 32 through the air, 192 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He also ran for 165 yards and a couple of scores. Also having a good night for them on the ground. Isaiah Claudio, 18 carries, 94 yards, and he also had a score. Yamil Oaxaca, 5 catches, 101 yards, 3 touchdowns, and Claudio also caught 7 passes for another 61 yards. For the victorious Franklin Cougars, again, they're still waiting to snap this second down ball here. They were led on the ground by Miles McCorder, 20 carries, 98 yards, 4 big touchdowns for him. Quarterback Cameron Bird had a really good night, 12 out of 20, 233 yards, 2 touchdown passes. He also ran for 97 yards. And their big guy on the receiving end, Bo Sparks, 6 catches, 165 yards, and a touchdown. And would you believe it, guys, we still have not snapped the ball on second down here to end the game. That was a long time out.
Steve, are you surprised?
I'm not surprised at all. Let's see.
Sounded a little testy. Little testy there, and Steve.
I please excuse the sass, everybody in El Paso. I apologize. But this time, Montwood will not call their third timeout. Amazingly, we're down to 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And mercifully, this game is over on the west side. A very happy homecoming crowd, a very happy radio announcer. The final score, the Montwood Rams losing a tough one to the Franklin Cougars. Franklin, 49, Montwood, 45.
All right, Steve Escajeda with the call from Cougar Stadium as Franklin tops Montwood 49-45. Thank you so much to all of our reporters, and Steve, we'll see you over at the Union Draft House on Sunland Park Drive. For Paul MacKinnon, Angel Munoz, Adrian Broadus, and everybody here at 600 ESPN El Paso, thank you for tuning in to Football Friday Night, Week 5 edition. Can't wait to see you next week. Have a great night.